welcome to the day after the home of popular culture, as defined by the actual culture. And of course, we're hosted by the absolute best. Please introduce yourselves.
Silence.
Because that's what happens when you chat shit on the show.
When you want to talk crazy.
Exactly. This is what happens. We get rid of you.
You get eliminated.
Like that. Girl power and that. All right. So tell them if they want to apply for the new role.
Yes, so if you would like to take Mark's position, you know we're recruiting. It's the second role we're recruiting for now.
Because we don't play games.
We don't play games. And you notice the pattern here is the men.
And people that sit on that side.
There's something about that. So Emman,
you better be watching yourself.
Your vacancy might be up on Monday.
You know what I mean? So act accordingly in this
please,
episode.
That's what I did.
Support all women's rights. Stay out of women's business. Agree with women.
Literally agree with women.
No, we're just joking.
We're
Mark's
playing.
is doing Mark stuff.
Yeah, he's doing Mark's stuff.
He's increasing the stock of the show and that. So he's not going to be here today. He's going to be here tomorrow.
He's going to be here tomorrow.
He's going to be back tomorrow. So the light-skinned guy that was born in Seoul is going to be back tomorrow.
Not Seoul.
We're going to be making jokes that you're only going to know if you watch every episode. So
exactly.
Guys, do not miss an episode. But anyway, there's more people that are hosting. Please introduce yourselves.
I am the Shade Queen, my own royalty.
Whoop, whoop. And it's Big Koi defending your right to fuck it up. Or mind your business, or behave yourself. I don't know, guys. It depends. It depends on the theme of the show. And I think that's it now, Jackie. And who else is in the building?
I think I need a drum roll, you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Not okay. Flashmaster Flex.
I cannot with the show.
Yeah, so they call me man.
Love it.
The pro-black activist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what was coming.
Producer and news analyst.
Okay. Not an analyst.
Jam-packed.
Not Melanin Jam-packed. What kind of porn star?
Wow.
That's a porn hub campaign. Melanin Jam-packed.
Gonna have the girls do some
I love it. I love
okay.
it. Can we move him today?
We love it.
Now we can't forget you.
You can't.
This is it.
Exactly.
This is it.
You told me that yesterday. You said, make yourself known.
I was giving him
He did
advice.
that. He understood the assignment.
You deserve to take up Space King. Do you know what I mean? That's what I told you, innit? So there we go.
That is so funny.
Guys, a lot happened last night.
A lot happened last night.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to run through this really quickly because we have a whole show to go through.
Absolutely.
But Drake was draking.
Drake was draking.
Esther tweeted a tweet.
I tweeted a tweet.
She tweeted a tweet. So where do we want to go? Drake or Esther?
Let's do Drake because Drake just be doing Drake things and I just
go
can't.
Drake. We'll go Drake. So guys, as a reporter, as a global reporter, I managed to catch up with some international news and I broke it here first.
I have to say I'm proud of that for you.
Thank you very much. You know,
Because you be missing
lazy
stuff.
Girl, I be
miss stuff.
sleeping. I really be sleeping. Like nothing is that interesting to me. But anyway, I happen to be on social media, which I do rarely. And I saw something, and apparently Drake had a back and forth with this guy. It was like a random guy, yeah. And Drake had a take on, I think, basketball. The guy then said, your son is probably playing with ghostwriters or something like that. It was meant to be a dig at Drake and a dig at his son maybe a little bit. So Drake don't play with his son.
Absolutely.
He might play with the ghostwriters, but he don't play with his son.
No, we don't do that.
So Drake said, and I'm paraphrasing, Drake said something along the lines of, I'm going to follow your girl. I followed your girl because it looks like she's bored and I think she needs a bit of excitement in her life. Yeah. It's rude, but it's
you gotta respect.
It's a little bit spicy. But anyway, me and Esther, we showed the full range of the women's opinions. Defending your right to fuck it up. So then after that, I decided, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go and see, what's if this actually happened. I went, and what was underneath her bio? Followed by Drake.
Champagne pappy.
And by this point, I'm not gonna lie, guys, this news was on social media. You would have seen it maybe, but it only got bigger later because apparently he also then slid in her DMs saying something along the lines of, I'm here for you, Ma.
I'm not being funny. You got to delete every Drake song. You can't listen to Drake again.
Do you know what they've done? I just saw it right now.
What they do?
They've come out, the husband and wife.
If you tell me they come up with a song.
They are hosting a night with a Photoshop of Drake and the wife.
They are insane.
Because it's on his actual Instagram. Sedibo Yabagni or something like that. Pull up on us and he's making, they even have the screenshot of I'm here for you, Ma.
Do you know what I will say though? One thing I love about Americans is that they make a living from like club appearances. Like they actually pay their bills, club appearances. So watch now, sis is going to be on a tour.
Me personally, I think Twitter loves to give power and take power away. And I feel like with this, they're not going to let her enjoy it for longer than we're enjoying
Absolutely
it.
not.
So tomorrow, we're going to be over this joke.
I feel like this is the Range Rover mum all over
true.
again.
Yeah.
And also, what happened with the Range Rover? Is that the woman
They
that
tried to knock someone over and then she started doing club appearances all over Essex and stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, She tried to knock someone over.
Do you remember the people that the fight the planet people?
Planet people.
Those ones, yeah.
Planet people.
Extinction people. Yeah.
Extinction.
She tried to run,
Those
like she was
idiots.
pushing them. Yeah, she was pushing them with a car, with her range, and then they videoed it.
Serious.
Next thing
She got in trouble though.
Yeah, she did, but she's basically like an influencer now.
Well, guys,
It worked.
yeah, I guess
Mhm.
it did. Remember at one point there was like no publicity is bad publicity.
Mhm.
I feel like this generation lives and
Lives
breathes
off it.
100%.
and eats that.
Like they
it
literally,
goes to bed with
they
that.
love it.
Like they gag for it.
They're dying for it.
So anyway, this is happening now. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I'm telling you right now, who do you think won? I'm asking you a question. Who do you think won in this?
I think
poll?
Drake wins every time.
every single
time.
freaking
Yeah,
time.
he did.
Every
Every
single
time.
time. Because they're trying to act like they didn't engage with it. But bro, you
No,
lot
no.
are saying that his engagement is enough for you lot to build
But
another
I'm
stream
not
of
being funny
income.
though. If I was the wife and I actually was bored, I'm not to my man that Drake. I was like, oh, he didn't follow me. I'm keeping that DM to myself.
No, she has to because there's no win. People said, okay, so what are the options? A one night stand with Drake,
Mhm.
destroy your. Because she has 2 kids. It was in the picture that Drake decided to.
Okay.
She has like kids. They have a whole family. This isn't like a new love. They're married. So yeah, it was like either a one night stand with Drake or stay with your husband and look like a ride and die chick.
All I'm saying is, if my conditions in the home was not great, I would have said yes, he followed me, but I would never have opened my mouth about that DM. And guess what? I'd be replying to that DM to Drake.
Serious.
Hypothetically.
Defending your right to fuck it up. Personally, I said if your man really loves you, he'll go and troll Drake right now in this climate. He will
I
say
don't want you
something
that. That's
about-
embarrassing.
No, he will say something about ghostwriters, and then your man Drake will slide into your DMs, and now you can see if you really love your man. Because are you gonna actually go with Drake or are you gonna stay?
I
with
can't
your
like that's
friends?
I can't have Drake sunning my man online. That is so
Yeah,
embarrassing.
but can
And
I
everyone knows
just say,
that's my man.
it
Oh my
shows-
gosh.
It shows, and then now both of you are like,
Oh.
is it okay? This is what I was disgusted by. Yeah, I was like, audacity is so sexy. The audacity
From
is
the right
sexy.
guy.
From the right guy, of course, from the right
If
guy.
I don't like you,
If it's
it's
not,
still
that's-
giving me the
if it's not the
See,
right guy,
that's the disclaimer right there.
yeah,
It's from
always
the
the
right
right
guy.
from
guy.
the right guy. And you know, I don't know if you. It turns out that men don't know if they're the right guy or not. It's always hit and miss for them. But if
Gotta
you're
wait
the
and
right
find
guy,
That's
out.
because you're the right guy to different chicks.
to different
Exactly.
exactly.
And you gotta wait and find out whether I'm that chick.
That's it.
right. So it's all risky. Remember, it's called the jungle for a reason.
For a reason.
It's not
okay?
called the corporate office. It's called the jungle for no rules.
It's-
But audacity is very sexy, and I realized that that's a key ingredient in Nigerian men.
Oh yes, Nigerian men. are very
Nigerian men
audacious.
would walk into a room being the least qualified and tell you that
absolutely.
you're fired.
Do you know what? My
And I
my
love it.
experience on my trip to Nigeria with Nigerian men,
Yeah.
Oh,
I said the audacity is mad.
The audacity is crazy.
You know
The
we're the best,
audacity
innit?
is
no,
wild.
the audacity is crazy. And then if you want to mix it with a little bit of like them living in Europe somewhere, so they know how to like code switch. Oh, they are Thanos. They've got all the rings, bro.
They got all the rings.
They've got all the rings.
That's
Like
wild.
they've got all the rings. So that's what I realized because I think I went through a long stage of banning Nigerian men. Not banning them, but
I could never.
I did think peace of mind was better than the roller
But
coaster.
everything else, yeah.
But
yeah,
then
yeah. You're so dumb.
So shout out to all the Nigerian men wherever you are.
Always.
I will say no one makes me feel more beautiful than Caribbean men. They know how to compliment a babe. Have you ever dated a Caribbean man?
No, I haven't.
Babe, I'm telling you right now, yeah,
haven't.
your self-worth, like,
I'll be honest, but I'm very I can openly say I'm very small-minded though.
okay.
Like God has a lot to work on with me because I'm
Yeah.
very I'm black, Nigerian,
Yeah.
Yoruba.
Less
Okay.
is more. That's right.
So
I hear that.
I'm onto something.
But I'm telling
here.
you right
Mhm.
now, yeah, when a Caribbean guy compliments you, yeah.
No, but they be complaining like so. The compliments I've had are like catcalls and
No,
They be
no,
joking.
no.
It's very like
Those-
okay, sir.
Those are the general ones that just come out of their spirit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when they target you, yeah, and it's about you, you're gonna think,
Wow.
oh my, wow. Well, I mean, wow.
I wish I
You're
met you.
gonna think,
I wish I met you years ago. I would have had time to.
You
explain
would.
that.
It's too late now. We're
it's
trying to
too late
settle
now.
down.
I'm stuck in my way.
But back on the roller coaster,
I'm back on the roller coaster. I'm loving it.
But guys, now we're giving you some jokes. Let's jump straight into what's happening around the world. I hope I shave my armpits. Anyway, I don't know what's going on under there, guys. I really hope I shave my armpits. All right, then, guys. So this is actually quite
So
serious.
good.
So let's up all the laughter. A PC. What does PC stand for? Sorry,
Police.
constable.
That's it.
All right, then.
Is it police
teamwork.
constable?
Today is.
It's the ball with it.
Listen, it's vibes day.
Okay, no more jokes. Okay.
Okay.
A PC admits to a PC admits to attempting to rape a woman. So PC and Ernesto Serraldi faces years in jail after pleading guilty to attempting to rape a woman he met in a pub after previously claiming that they had consensual sex. He admits that he also admitted to actual bodily harm on the victim, who is in her 40s. A judge told him, "You have pleaded guilty to these very serious counts on the indictment. There will be a substantial and immediate sentence of imprisonment imposed on you." He was originally granted bail by the district judge on the conditions that he lived at the Forces Training Center and observed an overnight curfew and surrendered his passport. However, the prosecutor appealed the decision, claiming Serraldi should be remanded in custody for the officer's own protection. He said, bearing in mind recent high-profile matters involving police officers, the Crown says that the defendant would be at significant risk of harm if he was released on bail.
That's exactly why they should let him out. That's exactly why, based on everyone else's actions, he should have got all the smoke.
I don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, what is it about somebody who doesn't want to be with you that makes you want to? Like, I just can't understand it.
Listen, human beings like hunger and desire to have some kind of power manifest in different ways.
Yeah, I guess.
Some people work very hard to become the CEO or whatever else, and some people just, the only way they can get that is through crimes.
Or physically being more powerful than somebody else.
Disgusting.
Like rape and molesting kids and stuff. Those are the two things that make me consider capital punishment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
And I think especially for me, like when you're in a position where you're meant to be protecting people and you abuse that power, get rid of you.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
So I just want to understand this. So where the prosecutor appealed the decision for him to have bail, because basically he had bail, right? So he could have, he was like, you can give me bail because I'm not going to go anywhere. You got my passport and I'm living on the training ground, right? Yeah. And I was thinking, so you feel comfortable going back into a space with other police officers?
But he didn't though, because they would be the ones to mess him up.
No, but...
What, the police?
Yeah, because police...
Yeah, that's what they do.
There's certain crimes that... as a police officer, even though we don't know, they might be hypocrites, but there's certain crimes, like crimes against kids, crimes against like women, certain police officers, because not everyone agrees with that. Yeah. And so you're more likely to be bullied by your colleagues because of that, especially because police officers, they don't like this thing where if you commit a crime, it looks bad on them as an institution. Yeah. So you're more likely to get
but I think you're talking about the good police officers though, because I feel like there's a certain culture there that fosters this type of behavior.
There is that, like, actually, yeah.
This wouldn't have happened in isolation at all.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
He would have felt comfortable.
That's what I'm saying. For me personally, if I was committed of a crime, right? And do you think I can go back to my and it was disgusting, right? Do you think I can go back to my family if they disapproved of it? I wouldn't feel comfortable wanting to go back into that space.
But you know what the problem is though? A lot of times when people commit crimes and stuff, like their family, like, it's like when it's a stranger, it's so quick to condemn it.
Yeah.
But when it's someone that you know personally, now you want to know both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you not ever asked your parents what they would do if they would back it for you if you did a crime?
Nah, because I can't go to jail. There's no bathrooms. Like, what? They do metal toilets. Is there hot water in there?
I've asked people in my family, like, what would you do if I committed a mad crime? Or like, would you like defend it? Yeah. My mum said that she would turn me in. I don't believe her.
I think it depends, you know.
It depends.
But you know what? I think.
Oh no, she would.
Probably would.
She would.
Because you know what? It's so terrible. It's embarrassing. I would turn anyone in that I knew.
I think she'll turn him, but I don't think she'll turn in my brother.
Okay, well, that's another situation. You're going to do with family therapy? That's not for TDA. That's above me now.
I don't think she would turn. Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know. I think it must be a terrible situation for a parent to be in. But Emman, he never answered.
You know, it is. Now, firstly, I've never asked my mum that.
Well, you lot don't be conversating.
Listen, I'm heavy on God forbid. I don't do that.
My mum would just start panicking.
Hey,
She goes, like, why are you telling me something?
Yeah. What's happened?
Oh, really?
I know when you said that made me think of Top Boy when Duchesne and his whole mum thing. And
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Would you turn your child in?
Yeah, that's a good question.
If it did a mad crime.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
We don't need mugs.
I think it depends what it is, you know. Like if it's one of them ridiculous crimes, like straight just road stuff, related stuff.
Yeah, you're hiding. You're protecting him.
No, I don't.
If it's murder.
If it was like more so something to do with like activism, you know, pro-black something related. 100%.
What if he murdered somebody because of activism.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. To me,
I'm not surprised by this. We're learning so much about him.
I'm gonna have to ship you out.
I mean, yeah, because look,
I get it.
Yeah.
And you know what? That I feel like it's easy as well to say. Even like with your mum, it's easy to say that you will do something, but when it's that time, and the love is flowing through you, I just want to know.
I wouldn't want to deal. I just wouldn't tell her personally because I wouldn't want to put her into my passer. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I always say. You know when people have hypotheticals. One thing about black community, we love hypotheticals.
Oh, we love. They call it. Somebody called it
hypogetical or something like that.
That was it. I was gonna hypogetical. That was
we love getting stories.
We love hypogetical.
But like you know when people are like, oh, like if your friend did something and you got the blame for it, would you snitch on your friends?
I can't snitch though.
Obviously, I always say I'm not from the streets. I don't live by the streets. I can't.
Let me tell you something.
I would say what I need to say.
Why is it always the person that doesn't deserve the crime that needs to now be held to this contract that we didn't sign? I'm so sorry. You're my friend. You should, before I even think of it, you should jump in and say, no, it was.
Don't even put me in that position to have to do it. And I'm not from the streets, so I don't live by the code of the streets. So technically, Your Honor.
I honestly think
I know anything.
the snitching thing, because the times when I've seen snitching used, so I don't know, there was a point where I was super invested in like young people and street stuff. And
I'm glad you followed up quickly because it sounded like you were super invested in snitching.
No. No. This is why Marcus isn't here today, because I don't know what his take on this would be. He wanted to throw away a girl because she didn't come to him in the middle of COVID.
Boy.
But in my head,
So.
oh my gosh. In my head, I just feel like lost my train of thought. Anyway.
It was about snitching.
Yes. So when I look at young people, I think grooming, you know, like those road people that groom little kids, do stuff for them. I don't think we look at them as disgusting enough. Like we don't. We don't. They are disgusting. Yeah. Like people want to separate it from paedophilia and stuff like that. But
no.
But if you think about what the core root of what they do is, they are using children for their benefit.
They're taking advantage.
They're taking advantage of children for their benefit to the destruction of that child's life. By the way. And in my head, I feel like we like to make distinctions really selfishly, like, oh well, but that looks a bit cooler than of course paedophilia is disgusting and horrible, but also you see something. I didn't know this, but sometimes like they trick the kids into being into debt for them and stuff like that. There's nothing loving about this. We have this mentality that the road, like people that are in the roads they're like our police, or they're like, they protect our society. It looks like the main person that, and I'm sure people benefit, but some people benefiting does not make them a charity organization. And in my head, that snitching thing, I think it's often used as gaslighting.
I think
to
it's
protect
gaslighting.
the people that are hurting us.
I think it's gaslighting because you know that you did this, I'm in this situation now. I'm basically in trouble for something that you did, but somehow you're going to play the moral code on me. That I shouldn't say that it was you, even though I'm now going to suffer. My life is ruined because of it.
You're a 30-year-old man. I'm a 12-year-old kid, and now I have what I believe is 10K
the rest of my life.
And I need to keep doing this thing for you. Missing school, putting myself in prison, but somehow you're my protector, you're my bro, you're my you're my older. I don't know.
Scary.
So anyway, we start off with the police. How do you guys feel about the police? What's you lot's individual relationships with the police?
I think it's definitely different for black women as it is for black men.
Facts.
I think a lot of maybe the way I feel is as a result of how I see black men being treated. But me personally, I don't feel any kind of way. I think I know that the institution is not as clean as it should be. But I can't say that I see the police and I'm like nervous the way a black man would be.
Yeah.
I am aware because I feel like they don't really make a distinction these days anyway. But I don't think I've got like a very unhealthy where I'm shaking my boots when I see the police. Yeah. It's so sad because I think if something did happen to me and say something was happening to me and I saw the police, I would have a sigh of relief, like, oh my gosh, they can help me.
For me, I think growing up, I remember being told, oh, you know, you wave at the policeman, you wave at the post office, the post delivery man, postman, and stuff like that. I don't know. I remember there being a distinct point when that stopped being my view of the police. And my view of the police became, they do their business. I just need to never be in their business. I need to never interact with them. So I pray that there's never something where I need them. Not because I don't think they're capable, because in reality, if something happened, robbed or whatever like that, who am I calling? It's not Ghostbusters. Do you know what I mean? But it's the fact that I just never want to, they represent bad news to me, and I just don't want to be engaged in any way, shape or form with them. Because if you ever have to call the police, it's never because you won the lottery. It's because of something scary or sad. Do you know what I mean? So my idea was just stay out their way, so I never have to deal with a misunderstanding or anything like that. Obviously, I have a younger brother who's tall and all of that stuff. He's looked older since he was.
Born.
Since he was 12. He's just looked like an older person. And I remember working at Foot Locker, and I asked him, I was like, yo, what trainers do you want in it? And he said Converses. And I knew that it was going to be a peaceful couple of years. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I was like, he was a skater boy in it. So I just knew he's not going to give off the aesthetics. That
because if he said black Air Forces, yo, deliverance.
Yeah.
You would have had to call the pastor.
We're sleeping in church.
Mate, not moving in.
Night vigil. So when he said that, and I know that shouldn't mean anything, but that's how I see the police. Like, stay out of their way. Don't attract their attention. Stay away from what they gag for.
That's so sad.
In a country where we make up such a small percentage, how are we the picture of trouble?
Systemic racism. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's even in us. It's even in us. It's even enough because even our acknowledgement of it is another thing that reinforces it. I know we can't ignore it. I know we live in the system, but I think the separation of black people and creating tiers of black people is part of that systemic racism. Like the good black and the bad black and all of these things, you know what I mean? And how to present yourself. And if you don't present yourself like that, that means something about you.
But is that reinforcing it though?
I think
or just the reality?
I guess it's the reality. But I mean, it allows it to keep going. Do you know, if the people it's impacting acknowledge it.
But I don't think it allows it to keep going. I think it's more so a survival mechanism. Because you know what I'm saying? Because you understand how you're seen.
Yeah.
And so you act accordingly.
Yeah, but I think we also have like stereotypes about each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And we act on that as well. I think that is...
Yeah, 100%.
There was a test done about who... It was race related. So it was like a black person, and they were testing for if we were scared, a white person or black person. They were testing for who we were scared of. So they tested a white woman who she's more scared of, black people, white people, just off of like her biology and stuff. And it was obviously black people. They tested a black woman who she was more scared of, and it was black people. And she said, she said her upbringing was that she was adopted, raised with a white family and all of that stuff. So all of those things. Yeah, but it just made me realize we can take on things in a way that's very not logical as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I say in terms of feed into it, I'm not saying willingly, but I think it will leave an imprint on us. That's why there's some black people that genuinely want to separate themselves so much from what they think black is. But yeah.
How do you see police?
I mean, to be fair, my interactions with the police have changed over the years. And like when I was younger, cancer was state and everything, interactions were horrible. Got older, started driving, interactions were horrible. Probably peaked them times there, innit?
When you say horrible, can you paint a picture?
Like, just like stopping you all the time, harassing you, searching your car, roughing you. Yeah. By the way, big up Margs.
No, you're trying to include Margs. You know what I mean? When he's absent.
Who is this Margs person?
If Margs wants to tell his story, he should have been here.
I'm from Hackney, Pembury Estate. But
You used to live there?
Huh?
You used to live there?
No.
Thinking you gave your address, so we don't want that.
I know Brent's not going to cut this out.
Okay.
Brent said attached will be a map link.
But so that's pretty much the context, innit? But yeah.
Okay. Were you a road G though? Were you about the roads?
I said,
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
I don't know. Thinking I've seen you before.
Not seen where you on the road.
Is that Older Killer Stabber? Are you Older Killer Stabber?
Oh dear.
You know what I'm saying? This is the reinforcement of the black stereotype right here.
Sorry, Older Killer Stabber, go ahead.
Oh dear.
No, but just regular, like, you're minding your business.
Yeah.
You see police behind you, you're driving. You just know they're going to stop you. The amount of times there I've just pulled over.
Without even them asking.
100%. And they confirm it. They just signal, pull over.
That's mad.
That's it.
And then what happens then? Like, what do they...
Ask you stupid questions. One time I was drinking super bottle.
To be fair, I also will stop.
It actually says non-alcoholic drink.
Thank you.
It actually says that.
But it's a scary looking bottle, so I understand.
Screaming.
No, but just regular things, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you fit this particular profile, searching your car for drugs. Everything.
What would you teach your son? I don't know if you have one, but what would you teach your son about dealing with the police? Oh, and what would you teach your daughter? Because this was a woman that was raped. So what would you teach them about dealing with the police, your son and your daughter?
That must be so difficult for parents to do.
That must be so incredibly
You have to
difficult.
break their innocence.
I'm making him wear a white suit.
Okay.
Everywhere. Even the white
So
guys.
not Morgan Freeman at the age of 10.
That's a tough question, you know. But I think the most important thing for me would be to make sure that they don't fear the police.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also they're armed with knowledge. Because I think police cower in the presence of knowledge. When you let a policeman know that you know XYZ about the law, you can't do this, they start shaking.
So what other things do you know what you're going to teach them about the law?
Nah, not yet. Not yet, exactly.
We probably should put together like a little...
Just certain, yeah, for real.
Like, we probably should put together, and I don't know who's invested enough to do this, but like 5 key laws you should know when stopped by the police
100%.
to be able to quote, and every black person and every
should learn it.
Should learn it. Because I think obviously we're talking about someone who was raped, so I don't think anything she would have done would have been able to... Of course not. The nature of rape is that... So that, I think... I think there must be some fucked up police officers just like anything else, but hopefully that's not the most common thing. But to be fair, in the last year, there's been like 3 high-profile women going missing, and it's been in relation to a police officer. So I started to think about this as well. What is the criteria for hiring a police officer? Because I think police officers and teachers should all go through psychological testing. I'm sure police officers
and I think police officers should do it every year.
Yeah,
that's a
every
good
year.
Point. That's a good point.
Even maybe every 6 months. Because anything can happen with
because they have so much power. Like, I mean, even like a PC, I don't know what the lowest rank of a police officer is, so let's just call it security guard plus. But that person has so much power.
Yeah.
They literally, their word means more than your word. If a police officer says they saw something,
100%.
It's literally that's
they
just
lie all the time.
Oh my gosh.
We need to normalize lie detector tests.
Yeah, but apparently that's
society.
not. It's not valid enough for it to be used as evidence, apparently. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we need to change that.
So, because in my head, I'm just like, yo, this person has so much power, and how did they qualify for it? Do you have to go uni to... Not that it would make them better, but you have to... I
think it's like it's an academy or something like that.
Yeah,
so you could be anybody.
GCSEs and able-bodied.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because even sometimes when I see police officers and they're not in shape, I'm like...
If I ran now, how you gonna get me?
This doesn't make sense. You're not in like you're not intimidating, so you must have to compensate somehow. You don't have a gun.
That's the admin guy.
Gods. Like, what is it? What are you gonna do? Spit bars? Like, how are you going to? Like, how do you command my respect? On top of that, we have a terrible relationship with them. It just feels like gang v gang. Like, it doesn't feel. In my head, if I had my own country, police officers would be like more than just able-bodied. They would be like in shape. Yeah. Because I think of the times you have to run. I'm not gonna have any video footage of my police officers in my country running out of breath. Like, that happens way too often. I think they'll need to be tested. Like, they'll need to be tested. Do you know how scary it is to see like a little young boy run around a police officer and he's lost his breath? Oh my gosh, this country's stock has gone down. Then I would also need him to kind of be intelligent, like, you know, like critical thinking. He can't just be like...
I think they do certain tests like that though.
They do. They do.
Okay, good. Well, somebody needs to tell me because I haven't experienced.
But I think the bar is quite low though. They're not expecting you to be a genius, innit?
I
they don't expect you to be a genius, but I think you do have to kind of be on job. Like, you do a lot of voluntary work. I remember there was a guy...
before being a police officer.
Yeah, because a guy I was in sixth form with, and I remember he was trained to do something, and he had to do like community stuff and do like community, you know, like with the community police and all that stuff. There's a lot of hours that goes into it, and a lot of like, you got to get this certificate, the next certificate. And so it's quite a lot of things that go into it, but I just think they need to come up with some kind of racist training or something.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should be allowed
how do you treat
that kind of job if you've got certain, what's the word for like racism, homophobia, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
What, prejudices?
Are you allowed to have phobias if you're a police officer as well?
They let them, they do. A lot of them do.
Well, let me jump into one more thing about police officer before we jump into what you're saying, which looks really exciting. So, South Wales police officer sacked for lying about his girlfriend. Men. A jealous and jilted police officer has been sacked by his force for trying to frame his girlfriend for a sting.
His
ex-girlfriend for a string of entirely made-up crimes. Once again, whatever they say is just Bible almost, including hiding a gun for a drug dealer, murdering an Albanian gangster, and plotting to kill his fellow Tesco colleagues. He made these anonymous tip-offs to Crime Stoppers when she broke up their relationship when he cheated on her.
The audacity.
The madness. The absolute
I'll be honest with you,
madness.
this situation, I'm glad that he got caught.
Yes.
But I can't imagine if it was a black girl. I don't know if they would have investigated it to know that he was lying.
When I first heard about this, I thought exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I said, this woman's white, 100%.
Yeah, she's white.
And I was so glad he wasn't black.
No.
Yeah. We turned.
No, sometimes I see someone, I think, please don't be black. Please don't be black.
Yeah.
And they're black.
All the time I think that. But I think like that's a problem. Like, we need to... It's unfair that like when I see something terrible from like white people, I don't paint their whole race that way for that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we are determined by OJ Simpson. By like literally, we're determined by like the lowest behavior that somebody who happens to be black does. But anyway, I get that we have to think that, like you said, we have to be aware of the world we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never even thought about that. I just thought to myself,
That's the first thing I thought.
This is why I don't date police officers, roadmen, anyone
that is linked to crime.
Anybody, fireman. Like, I just don't like anyone whose life is in these kind of spaces. It's just, I think it's an open door for a lot of bullshit. But yeah, he's a tapped person.
I'm glad they saw that he was lying there, because that's mild.
He was obviously, and he cheated on her.
Can you imagine?
His response to that was, I will destroy your life for having standards.
But the lies are so wild as well. Hiding a gun for a drug dealer. I can understand that one. Fair enough. A lot of girls do that. Stop it. Stop it. But a lot of girls do it. Murdering an Albanian gangster. Why is it got to be Albanian?
Do you know what
it is? Just be a gangster.
The first one was a warm-up lie. It was
then saying plotting to kill her fellow Tesco colleagues. For what?
No, but can you see how they all got more serious? So this is what happened. The first day after she left, he said, oh, is it? You're going to leave me? All right, cool. So she held something for dealer. Then he sees her on Insta living her best life.
Literally going out more, wearing less.
Then she killed an Albanian gangster. Then he saw her on a date. Fuck it. And she killed her colleagues. No one's dead, but she killed
She was planning to.
Men. They don't have to deal. They really don't have to deal. Anyway, let me not put him as all men, because that's not fair, innit?
That's it.
So, but anyway, let's jump into more stuff, because local elections are today. Did I even know local elections were today?
You know, I was thinking, I got an election card.
I did, like,
come through.
Yeah.
I know I left it. I don't know I put it.
I thought it would just sort itself out. This, you know what I like. Just fill in the blanks. Autofill.
What is this even for? Like, who are we voting for? What is going on?
So these are the questions, and then we could jump into Esther, what you just said. Are the local elections even important? What are the importance of voting in general? Do we feel heard? Does block voting work? I don't know what block voting is.
I was about to say, I wouldn't know if it works, because I don't know what that is.
So what we're going to do right now, we're going to send it over to E-News.
Take it away, sir.
So basically, the local elections is when you pretty much choose who's going to represent your council.
Or like an MP?
Okay.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
And obviously...
I let you down, whoever you are. So
like, when it comes to like general elections, the party that has the most MPs elected, pretty much is the one that, you know...
Becomes Prime Minister.
Becomes Prime Minister. That's pretty much how it is.
Damn, we should have voted.
I mean, it's still today.
No, but like, we're not in general election time, though. So this is just so you can get a particular MP from a party representing your borough now.
Yeah, but
when it comes to the general election...
This is going to count?
No. You do it again.
Oh, do it again.
Election.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think local election is every 4 years.
Oh, wow.
General elections every 5 years.
So when's the next general election? 3 years?
Well, like we were saying the other day, Boris might try and do it for next year.
Why?
It should be 2024.
Oh, yeah, because
should be 2024. But he might do it for 2023. But it depends how today goes, really. So everyone needs to vote.
Yes, everybody, make sure you vote, like me.
Yeah, I'm going to vote. When I get home, I'm going to set a reminder.
Yeah, because I'm an adult. I do be voting, but I just be voting when the universe aligns with me knowing a voting thing's happening, and there's a big noise around it. Like, there's a queue outside the local library. Oh, okay, let me join the queue.
I think there should be incentives for voting, personally.
Should be what?
Incentives.
The incentive is good leadership.
Yeah. The incentives is how your life will be.
I don't feel heard. Okay?
Apparently it's good for your credit and some shit that I heard.
Yeah, that's what every Nigerian parent says.
No, it's good to be on the electoral register for your credit score.
Yeah.
They're not ticking whether you vote this year or not.
You can't have taken out 4 TVs on credit
exactly.
but then go and vote.
Exactly.
It's
anti don't work like that. Pay the bills, ma'am. Do you feel heard when you vote?
Not really.
Your conservative self.
I'm definitely not conservative. Like I said, I vote Labour all the time, unfortunately.
No,
I heard that.
Yeah, why do you keep doing that then if it's unfortunate?
Because...
Well, okay, to be fair, the last few times I've not voted at all.
So you've rather not voted at all than
so his voice hasn't been heard. He doesn't feel like his voice has been heard, so that's why he stopped voting.
Yeah, and because if I voted those times for Labour, Conservative will still be in power. So
yeah, but then you don't know. But maybe everyone's thinking the way you're thinking.
Yeah. That's true.
So if everyone who thinks that voted, Labour might be in power.
No, but it's Labour's fault. It's Labour's fault. Because if they felt like their voice led to... Fuck it. Even if Labour was in power, right?
Yeah.
If they felt like Labour was doing enough to not just stay in power, but to deliver on what they promised, Labour often feels like the decision that you make when the Conservative... Because you just know Conservatives are going to be bad. Like, it just feels like that. I feel like Labour doesn't lean into what they say they're going to do enough. I don't feel like they do what my parents told me Labour was about.
Exactly.
Do you know,
and we don't believe them.
I was going to ask as well, you know the times you haven't voted for Labour, you haven't voted at all, did you look at the what's it called? Conservatives Manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't given.
The thing is, right, I'll be honest with you. Conservatives, I feel like their policies probably better suit me, right?
Yeah.
He's got money.
He got money.
No, not because of that. Just because I believe some of their approaches will bring about economic prosperity for more people in the nation, honestly.
Sorry, we need to start an economic jar. Every time Emman says, we're going to be balling by the end of the year. We're going, sorry.
But with Labour, I just feel like it's more so, let's put more money into the welfare system. Let's tax people inheritance tax.
I feel like it's not realistic though, is it?
It's not realistic at all. It's just basically, it seems to me anyway, just something to kind of antagonize the Conservatives rather than something to actually build us up.
So then why don't you just vote Conservatives?
Because I feel like the racism there and how they really, because to some degree I feel like they despise black people, and I can't vote for something
that I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the issue. But to be honest with you, I feel like everyone should vote, to be fair, because people really fought for black people to vote.
Is there any other parties that are making sense? Oh, sorry, I'm making sense outside of
I can't remember his name.
Green Party.
What's his name? The guy that does the council housing thing. He goes around.
Kojo.
Is it Kojo?
It's Quajo.
I know there's a W in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, he basically said he feels like it's a two-man race. And we should get him on. He was like, he feels like it's a two-man race, and that we need a new party.
Yeah.
Because what's happening right now is literally like, you know, like in those high school movies where there's like the cool kids and then there's like two, and you can only pick one of those two because everyone kind of has a habit of picking these two.
Yeah.
The Green Party is making it. Lib Dem fell off. The Green Party is making their head, but we're only saying Green Party because we're like, okay, well, at least if we save the planet, there'll be something for our children. But this is not decisions led by choice; it's led like by process of elimination.
Yeah,
I don't feel heard here. I don't feel heard here.
Yeah.
What else is someone doing? But in all honesty, I think what we need is a party. And this probably is way more difficult than I'm thinking, but we need a party that reflects our views more. That these ones only seem to reflect a few of our views. Conservatives, because some of us are making money now, we're just like, yeah, I care about that. Labour, because some of us know where we come from, I care about that.
Yeah.
And then Green Party, green is a nice colour, I care about that. Screaming. So I don't know, I just feel like there's a disconnect between what people want, the new combinations of what people want versus what is available.
Like for the past, I don't know, hundreds of years now, it's always been a two-man race, to be fair. And so maybe this is why it's important for black people to get into those two parties. You know what I'm saying? Rather than us look at, you know, people
an
like
party.
Huh?
Like rather than trying to create
rather than
party.
doing that, because it's a lot of work
to
create a new party and actually really, like, you know, challenge the Conservatives or the Labour for power. I
wouldn't even trust the new party. If I'm honest.
Look at that, and that's the problem.
I don't trust any of them. Like the person, I think the way that a new party would ever get some sort of success is through great social media marketing. Like then I'm like, yo, what party is this if it's built on today's principles? But
it's mad, man.
Yeah, but everyone needs to
everyone get out a vote.
Get out a
vote.
vote.
Remember when they were doing the elections for the London mayor?
Yeah.
Did you lot vote?
I think I did.
Who'd you vote for?
Not Sadiq Khan.
Good.
Not Sadiq. That's all I knew. That I was not going to vote for that.
But this is what
man.
I'm saying. A lot of black people will vote for him because he's Labour.
But I saw he went back in
sense.
because of COVID anyway, or something like that.
What do you mean?
No? Never mind.
He won. He won anyway.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
But I
who was before him?
Oh, who was it?
I thought it was Sadiq Khan. That's why he won.
Wasn't it Boris? No,
it was him again, wasn't it?
I think it was Boris.
And then before Boris was Ken
but
Livingstone.
Yeah.
Sadiq has had two.
Yeah.
Two terms.
This is the second.
Yeah, it's the second time.
But before him, I think it was Boris. Then I think before him was Ken Livingstone.
Ken Livingstone. Yeah, I remember.
I remember I saw that in school.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's really sad.
You remember the black guy for the Tories, the one who got caught up in the whole Partygate scandal as well during COVID.
No,
but he was good. He was looking to actually.
Yeah, but he was going to be a scapegoat.
Was that a party?
Yeah, has to be one black guy.
He was at one of the parties, I believe.
Yeah, and he was right there in the picture, front and center.
But he was looking to get rid of congestion charge.
And what happened? Did he resign?
No, he didn't win. He didn't win. That matters to me, congestion charge.
Yeah,
it matters to me.
This is what I'm saying. But why are we going to vote for Sadiq Khan, who wants to extend congestion charge, the hours and the actual area?
And
it doesn't make sense. So this is why I don't really have no loyalty to any political party.
You shouldn't have. I think the loyalty thing actually doesn't make sense because this is not your friend. This is somebody.
This is it.
It's like having
100%.
loyalty to your landlord. No,
Exactly.
Who's giving you the best deal?
100%.
In the words of
yeah,
honestly,
thank you
Sean
very
Bailey,
much.
that's it.
Thank you very much.
Sounds Caribbean.
Sean.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of goes into the whole block voting thing. Block voting is basically an idea. I'm not sure if it was started by Claude Anderson, but pretty much he's a black economist in America, and he was pretty much saying black people should vote like together. All of us come together, pretty much choose who we want to vote for and vote for that person. That way we have more power. Each party can come to us and say, listen, you're this particular percentage of the nation. We need your votes, especially in these key areas in London, for example. And then what are we willing to do to actually get your votes?
I'm telling you, when you are not the majority, coming together, like grouping together, is one of the oldest, most tried and tested ways to get power. Like, I know as black people, it's unfair that we have to come together as one voice. That's unfair, cool. But I'm just telling you, it happens already. It happens with religion. It's like, so in France, when it came to voting for the Macron or whoever, the Emman was literally saying, vote for Macron rather than the other woman because she's just on the next level of racism. Like, because numbers matter when you're not in power. Yeah. And I know it's annoying, but it's just the facts of the situation. How else are you going to do? It's either that or riot.
Yeah. But it's so sad though, because I feel like black people would not stick together like that. But that's
we're
the busy trying to cancel each other every other day.
No, because we shouldn't have.
How are we going to?
Realistically, we shouldn't have to, but strategically, that is the way that we make it.
Because like even within the black community, right? The people who are conservatives, the people who are Labour, there's so much differences that it's going to be so difficult to pull that
them
through.
Together,
to pull through on that. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And there lies the problem. This is why
we're just in a pickle.
Yeah.
But right now I think we have been and will continue to be an afterthought for most political parties because of the fact that they know most of them will crack on. Most of them will crack on. They don't have a consensus within themselves.
Exactly.
Most of them will crack on. The thing as black people and as human beings, why should I have to align myself with billions of other people to be heard? I know that sounds crazy, but I don't think white people have to do that. Like, and
they don't.
But we're 4% of the country,
right? And so the only way we would make any kind of impact is to
be together.
Yes, to be together and to make noise.
Someone start a movement.
It's not even the biggest impact, but still, it's still something.
It's something. It means we have to be considered. It means concessions 100%. Will have to be made. Yeah.
I think someone should do it. I'll do it if you man do it.
Not you doing a Savage Dan. If you man do it.
It's so iconic. No, but everyone do get out and vote.
Well, like you said, systemic racism happens everywhere. So let's jump into our next story.
Racism is just on a roll today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, but I don't mind it compared to last week. But I'm over anyway. Jamaican-born British Army Sergeant is suing the Ministry of Defence for racism. Come on, lad. A Jamaican-born British Army Sergeant is suing the Ministry of Defence for racism after his superior officers allegedly ignored and excused fellow soldiers using the N-word and the term on bongo in front of him. Sergeant Floyd Campbell has said that he suffered continual racist abuse from his colleagues during his 11 years in the military, but insists that his claims were ignored or brushed away. One senior officer was accused of excusing a corporal who called him the N-word by saying the offensive term has been mistakenly used, having been picked up during banter amongst black basketball players. Wow. Another soldier allegedly continually used the term umbongo, apparently relating to a popular 1980 juice drink, umbongo, despite having been repeatedly told it was racist and offensive by colleagues. Sergeant Campbell claims to have suffered from bouts of depression due to the abuse and has now taken the MOD to an employment tribunal.
I hope he gets paid.
It
wouldn't help, but we help with therapy.
My thing is, okay, so have you guys ever experienced mad emotions after some sort of racism or some sort of offense based on your color? Have you ever experienced the sadness or something like that, or do you just all crack on? I feel like there must have been a moment.
Yeah, probably. I can't remember, to be honest with you, because I feel like I've had this mindset for years where I just expect it of white people. I literally don't look at no white person and believe or see a friend at all.
Oh,
Do you have any white friends?
that is a clip. That is a clip. Brent, don't sleep.
No,
that is a motherfucking clip. That was a hard lesson.
It may seem bad or sound bad or whatever. But I feel like you have to work for my trust. That's how I see it.
Material girl.
No,
on a serious,
too many things have happened.
It's
to black
heartbreaking
people.
when you give white people a chance to be everything that they say they can be.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is, and it's a human thing, there's no reinforcement for them to actually be your friend. Like, as in, at the moment when it's not convenient for them, they can pull that friendship and that understanding away from you.
Yeah.
And when that happened, because that had happened to me, and I do have white friends, but someone who I felt was really intelligent and literally would ask me non-stop. This was back, you know, when you have energy at the beginning of your life.
Yeah.
And to explain everything, break it down, try to be like, just to really try and explain. This was the person I invested a lot of that into. And I remember her one time asking me a question and I told her the answer and she wasn't happy with the answer. And so in front of a lot of people, she asked another black person. That black person wasn't part of this, I can't say too much, but wasn't part of this thing, right? She was like outsider. But she gave her the PC answer. And she said, I guess not everybody thinks the way you think. And I need you guys to understand, in that moment, I realized that like most human beings, they're only going to go as far as they're comfortable going in terms of understanding your plight.
Yeah.
Like it's not do or die. It's not integral to their well-being that they are fair. Do you know what I mean? And so when you say that, a younger me, you know, before my uncle used to say right is right, right is not right and all of that stuff, a younger me would be like, oh, that's a bit harsh. But I get it. It's like you're constantly that's such a big trust to put in somebody
100%.
who's literally been taught by society that their opinion is right. It's like you might be even putting too much expectation on a white person to be able to depart from all of that privilege to see you.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like,
it's very wild.
Yeah. It's like too many things have happened to black people and still happen to black people, and unfortunately will happen to black people. For me to say, you know what, open arms. You know, I see the same as black people, for example. No, I can't be an idiot. I can't afford to be an idiot. At all.
Somebody who served for 12 years alongside these men to still be treated like this.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine.
Is fucked up.
Imagine.
I can't imagine. When he says bouts of depression, I believe him. I absolutely believe him. To go home to your partner or whatever after a day where you have worked as hard as these men, you have been in the trenches with these men. I don't know what sergeants are doing.
Risking his life.
Because I don't know what they're doing, but if it's Iraq and all of that, risking your life. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but there's this clip on Twitter of I hate when I get passionate because I hate it, but like where guys that went to Vietnam, some black guys, they're speaking about who's teaching these Vietnamese people the word nigger. Who's teaching them to be scared of us? Who's teaching them? Like we're literally in the same fucking place as you, dying for you, the same cause as these white people. And I'm doing it on a smaller level. Even when I travel, it's like I'm walking into like someone has already gone there before me and told them that I'm a problem. I used to love traveling, guys. I'm scared to travel by myself because there's this. You haven't met me before, but you have all these things. And then I would hear like all these, like, obviously at one point I was around a lot of rich white people. They would travel the world. One girl was like to me, I went to Asia and they invited me into their hut and it was so lovely. And I just thought that could never happen to me. That could never happen to me because somebody has already told their culture that I'm not somebody who should be welcomed. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
And to have this happen in your country, you're fighting for your country and to be called a nigger, I can't imagine the depths of depression this guy would have gone through.
Exactly.
So I hope you go and I hope you get your money and I hope you change some sort of law that makes it difficult for them. Because it's when I'm going to make an assumption. When I think of who makes up these armies and stuff, I just think of like people that come from areas where they don't see very many black people. People that would go and joke with a black person, or I'm sure you have a big dick in it. Like them kind of people. Those people that will drink beers and stuff like that and say words and be like, I'm sure you're not offended by that because you're one of us kind of thing. Just like, I don't know what the mentality is, but just something that's very like Midlands, English, not just saying Midlands is all over the place, but like just some. And I just feel sorry for this man.
I feel bad for him, man. That's deep.
And to think he went through the proper channels as well. Told the superior.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And they said what? Well, he
didn't mean it.
It was a mistake. It didn't mean that.
I mean, they feel the same way. That must be difficult.
Have you experienced racism from a superior?
Not overtly.
Not from
Not overtly. But we know. You know what I'm saying? No one can tell you, oh, that's not racist. We know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've never been anything else. So we know exactly what it is when you talk to me in a particular way and talk to them in a particular way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When you make assumptions about me, you don't,
100%.
yeah. It's wild.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I hope this guy gets a lot of money. I don't know, because it seems like the system he's trying to get money from or get acknowledgement from is already made up of...
There you go.
You know, the only thing going for him is that he's doing it in this era. Because then maybe some... And if I didn't know about TDA, I never would have known about this. Small plug, so...
You would have had to go viral on Twitter for me to know about that.
Yeah, you would have had to go viral on Twitter. And a lot of people would be like, bro, you decided to be... Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you remember Mike from Love Island? You know, he was a police officer and people were calling him about being a police officer and all the kind of stuff. And then he came out and turned out actually he had an investigation about racism with them when he worked there and all that kind of stuff. And
there you go.
Yeah, it was sad because when the profile came out for Love Island, it was like, oh, the police officer is one of those kind of black guys, like an Oreo, blah, 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 blah. And then obviously he wasn't, we know that. When he went on the show. But I remember as well, like his brothers and stuff were talking about how, you know, he's had to deal with racism within all of that and all that. And I'm sure he had some kind of investigation going on, but it's just terrible, man. It's just, I don't understand. When I get to heaven, right, one of the first questions I'm asking God is, why are they racist? Why, like, what happened?
If I start talking about that now, the show will be finished.
Yeah.
Cancelled.
You know, we done had...
Scrunch it up.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think Emman secretly wants us to be cancelled. He comes in with this level of vim. Every day, like...
He's got something to say.
Let me tell you, we can never be cancelled.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen to that.
We can never be cancelled.
We can never be cancelled.
We are too necessary.
Period.
Wait,
100%.
hold on. I need a t-shirt that says we are too necessary.
We are too necessary.
And the TDA logo. I don't need the new black on it, just the TDA. But yeah, no, so I think that's we are too necessary.
100%.
Fuck, I'm ending the show with
I love that.
I love that. We are too necessary.
Anyway, merch is coming, guys. Sign up to the Patreon.
It is, you know.
You get exclusive drop first.
Yeah.
Whatever else. So
and they get discounts as well on the Patreon.
Exactly. So sign up to the Patreon, okay?
I need you to understand that a lot of shows wouldn't talk on these topics because they don't even have the range or don't even think it's offensive enough. And we're doing that.
In all honesty.
Let's keep doing it as well.
Love it.
All right, let's jump into a juicy segment in the show.
Yes.
Let's go.
Word on road. So, I just feel like the Kardashians, their theme, because basically they do this thing, with like American talk shows I watch, where they don't like people talking about them. But if you don't want to be talked about, why are you in the news all the time?
But we know they want to be talking about that.
Okay, exactly. So the Kardashians, everyone knows about obviously Ray J and Kim's famous sex tape that was released in 2007.
Can I quickly say I'm so excited about this? Please take your time and just really give us.
Not so excited.
I don't follow vlogs anymore because I'm just waiting for you. So just milk this as much as you like. This tea is hot. It's very hot tea. Because I didn't even know about it. I never knew. Okay. So what had happened was... Come on.
I think I made reference last time about their new show on Hulu now, where they were having when we're talking about Tristan and his cheating ways, right? Remember? Yeah. And I was saying how one of her kids, Kim's kids, was playing on Roblox and must have seen a picture of Kim's crying face.
Oh, yeah.
And the ad said... Kim's new sex tape. Thank God the kid can't read, but that's what it said basically. So she obviously was upset, blah, blah. So in the show, you see her kind of calling Kanye, which is obviously the father of kids, blah, 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 calling Kanye, upset about it and saying this is what just come up. And when this child was playing on Roblox and I just want all of this to be over and just crying, you know, Kim, when she gets to her crying bag, she'd be crying, all that stuff. So in the episode that's dropping, I think it's next week, there's a preview where Kanye meets Ray J. So they basically there's now a new storyline about how allegedly Ray J was going to release other tapes. So apparently that one tape that's been circling is not the only tape they've got. Okay. There's more tapes. And allegedly his lawyer his manager was threatening to release the tapes.
Wow.
Yes. So this kind of what her storyline for this season. This is where she's going with it. This is where she's going with it. And in the next episode, you see Kanye being a hero and he flies coach to Ray J to get the tapes, retrieve the tapes in the laptop. And Ray J cooperates with Kanye.
Okay.
And then he, like a shining knight in shining armor. He brings back the tapes to Kim, and she's
In
of
a
course
suitcase.
emotional, and her friends, her family around, and it's a whole thing. She's crying, the dramatics of it all. Well, Kim deserves an Oscar. Sis deserves an Oscar. Do you know why she deserves an Oscar, guys?
Why?
Because the whole time the tapes were in her possession.
Can you imagine?
Ray J never had any of the tapes. So Ray J has now had to come and speak up because he said that, in addition to that clip from next week, she also claimed that one time when she was sleeping, he tried to put a dildo in her bum. Now, I'm no lawyer or anything, but that is, don't put that one up.
I'm not posted that one.
I'm not a lawyer or anything, but that counts as rape. So he's now seen this and he's like, do you know what? I've actually had enough because, first of all, I never leaked the tape. The story out there is that the reason why the sex tape is out here is because of me. I leaked it. That's a lie. You know that's a lie because I gave you the idea. So he actually gave her the idea. You know, back then she was Paris Hilton's PA.
Yeah.
So around that time, Paris had a sex tape that went out and her career basically just skyrocketed, right? So he was like to her, we should put out one of our sex tapes. Like, they made sex tapes. They had a few. So he's like, we should put out one of our sex tapes, blah, blah. He just said that, but he said he was saying it jokingly. Next thing he knows, she's speaking to her mum. Next thing they know, it's now a business deal where they're signing contracts and they're going to do it. And the story is like, okay, you leaked it, blah, blah, blah. Like, they come up with a whole story. And he signed the contract, but he didn't have a legal rep there with him. So I guess when he signed the contract, obviously he's going to say that you can't come out with the truth. But now he's just had enough because he's saying how, obviously Ray J's got 2 kids now. I think they're like age 3 and 2, something like that. And he's now saying that this is not affecting his image as a father. But he said even beyond that, all of these years, it's affected his career professionally. Because he was like, I can't do stuff like America's Got Talent. Ray J's talented. The guy can sing.
100%,
I can't do America's Got Talent. I can't do Dancing with the Stars. I can't do anything on major networks. This is why the man stays with Love and Hip Hop.
You see?
I get it. I get it. Because he was like, I can't have major jobs because of this narrative that I leaked a woman's sex tape. And he was like, I'm raising a black woman.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm raising a young black girl. I don't want her to grow up thinking that this is how her father treats young black women, basically. So he actually DM'd Kim and did a whole explanation. It was very deep, actually. I don't think I've seen Ray J in that kind of light because, you know, he'd just be messy all the time. And he just basically explained, he was like, why are you doing this? Why are you playing me? Why are you trying to ruin my name? He was like, you're making me look like a rapist. You're making me look like this and blah, blah. And he was like, why are you doing this when you know for a fact that this is not the story? And you know that I've spent all these years covering for you. Why are you doing this kind of thing? And then she comes back and she's just like, oh, I'll speak to my team. I'm so sorry. I'm so this. Very calm about everything. And I guess that kind of made him change his mind about, because he was like, he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not threatening you. But I'm going to the press and I'm talking about everything. So she's like, I'll speak to my team and we're going to release a statement. So I don't think they released a statement because he did an exclusive interview with Daily Mail and he spilled all the tea.
Wow.
So I don't think they did. But for me, I'm just shocked because I did not know that this was it. That this was actually it. And I can't lie to you.
I did.
I didn't have a clue.
As in, when I say I did, as in like, I felt like it was integral. Something that's that integral to your trajectory, I think is very weird that will happen randomly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you need to think back in those days. We know today's toxic, but you see, back in those days, it was the toxic in a very different way. It was noise. It was sex tapes. It was like it was so normal. All of that stuff. So, you know, I still think she's an incredibly smart businesswoman and very good at taking opportunities because that doesn't necessarily make you a billionaire. Do you know what I mean? So we're not taking that stuff away from her. I think the problem is the one thing that I find refreshing or new information is. You're right. Ray J is incredibly talented and has done not very obviously he's got his business and that, but he's kind of seen as a joker.
He's seen as
he's seen as an absolute joker. He's seen as someone
not a serious person
who has lost the fight against the Goliath of Kim Kardashian. And do you know what I'm saying? He's seen as a bit of a side man a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I never thought of it. I never thought that he signed this and it really worked to his detriment entirely.
Yeah. I never thought that it went. I just never thought that it was this planned and this calculated.
Yeah. And that is what celebrities need from us. They need us to not know how much. Even when I work in advertising, the amount of things that we think is just the amount of thought that goes into it is scary.
Yeah, 100%.
It's scary.
100%.
Like, it's very, very rarely anything you see is accidental. That's why we love Nella Roses and stuff, because when she just randomly says stuff, it's like, oh shit, that's authentic and funny.
Yeah.
These other people write scripts. Even like when people go on like Saturday Night Live and that, there's entire they script even the funny bits. Do you know what I mean? They script it. But sorry, babe, please continue to drop.
But so apparently there's a bunch of sex tapes that they made and it was never in his possession. And it's just, man, and he was saying how like they still make money from it. I think I read that their sex tape has generated like $100 billion, I believe.
It can't be billion. It can't be billion.
Yeah. You know, we've been throwing numbers around here.
Yeah, that's it. I'll take 100 million. I've never watched the sex
it might
tape,
be 100 million.
But I heard that I've heard different reactions to the sex tape actually. Some were like, well, what about you, man? What's your thoughts on the sex tape?
I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's wild.
You know what's crazy though, yeah? In 1955,
Ooh.
Not the throwback.
Not the throw all the way back. Okay.
Because I just can't help but think this, yeah. But in 1955, 14-year-old boy, Emmett Till, went to go and see his extended family. He was abducted. He was tortured. He was lynched.
It's mad.
Because he whistled at a white woman. What's crazy about that story is, he didn't even whistle at the white woman.
Yeah.
He lied. And what's crazy about what I'm about to say now is that thank God the lies of this white woman hasn't resulted in the death of this black man.
But you know what's mad?
It's finished his livelihood though.
He's
finished career opportunity.
No, but he said that he felt suicidal. He said he felt suicidal.
So 1955 has happened again potentially.
Yeah. He said there's moments where he felt suicidal and he felt like it's affected relationships, affected a lot of things. Because he was like, even like the way he feels like people interact with him and they really look at him. Yeah. And the image of him is like, you're a disgusting man. This is what you do. And the one thing about the Kardashians, they're so good. I need everyone to go and watch this clip where sis is crying about Kanye getting the tapes back for her. And I watched that, I said, you actually deserve an Oscar because the tapes was in your bedroom the whole time. Like, production just has to bring it into the room
Can you imagine?
So what? So did Kanye play a part in this then?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Because he's saying as well, he's saying as well that Kanye knew that what the deal was. Because Kanye's seen like sex and all that kind of stuff between them in regards to the sex tape and things that's going to come out. Because they've used it as a storyline for years. So Kanye's known about these things.
But is it more so a thing of where Kanye actually did go and collect it, but for when they were actually shooting, Kanye he had already collected it?
No, but Kanye had nothing to collect from Ray J. Ray J doesn't have anything.
He never had anything at all.
The only thing I have is text messages and that's on his device. He didn't give... Kanye came in with a laptop
in a briefcase.
And alleged tapes.
Not the props, child. Not the props.
So he's like, all of that as well is acting.
This is insanity.
But I feel like Kanye, that one anyway or there. They just used him because really and truly, I feel like he just wants to be with her, that he's doing anything. Why didn't she have Pete go get it?
Can you translate or there for...
Or there's full.
Yeah.
Or there's a dummy.
I want to make sure our multicultural audience...
Yes, you guys will learn your as we go along. Or there's a dumb person because really and truly, because when I saw Kanye in the show, in the preview, the trailer, I said, what are you doing here? You've been out here saying Kim Jong-un, Chris Jong-un or whatever you were saying.
Are you sure Kanye didn't know? Because I watched the entire episode. Kanye said... They came, he was like, we need to see you, but nobody else should be here. Like, I didn't even know. The mom sometimes kicks out the driver from the car when she's doing deep talk. So she's MI5 agent, right?
Yeah.
And then Kanye was like, they were like, what's happening, Kanye? Kanye was like, I think Kim wants to tell you herself or something along those lines. So it's making me think,
no, but
is he really a part of this rollout?
No, but Kanye's story is that he went to Ray J to get the tapes.
And that couldn't
But how are you going to get the tapes from somebody who's never had possession of any of the tapes? He said all the tapes they've ever made, none of them not one was in. He even told us how it was hid. He said she had it in a Nike box under her bed. He said obviously she's got bigger beds now and she's probably got better security, but he was never in possession with any of the tapes. He just planted that idea to her and her mum made a business out of it, and the next thing he was in a room signing a contract and the rest is history.
Can I tell you the truth? None of this is going to change anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
This revelation isn't changing a damn
I hope
thing.
it changes his image though. I hope that it does go, because what I really want, and even though I'm glad that he spoke out via Daily Mail, I think that Ray J's, because he's got in partnership with Zeus Network where he produces like so many shows and stuff. I think what would have been sick would if he actually had to sit down and talk about it rather than this, because not many people are going to read this.
Yeah.
If this doesn't, this might trend on whatever, and it's going to pass. But I think if there was some kind of documentary out there, that would stick more. Where when you Google Kim K and Ray J, that's going to come up. Obviously now if you Google it, this article will come up. But not many people are going to read. People don't like to read. They rather watch stuff. So I feel like he should have done that. That little dramatic stunts they did with all the Zeus shows they do. He should have had all that stuff going on, and I think it would have been sick. Or even if he sat down, if he went to Breakfast Club, you know, his boys with them, and actually sat down to. I feel like he probably needed
do that.
Yeah, he should have done a video.
But he should. I definitely feel like because of how big this is, he needs to make a bigger deal of it. Because the problem with the Kardashians is that they have the best PR response always. Bro. They are quiet.
That's it.
In this world, when you're quiet, it's like it didn't happen.
Yep.
We could go and have the most amazing wedding tomorrow, but if it's not posted on Insta, it didn't happen.
Yep.
It's the same thing for I've realized with everything, they just don't say anything.
Yep.
Whereas everybody else does the opposite. Black China will scream, everybody will scream.
Yep.
So what ends up happening is that you look like a mad person because you're arguing with nobody.
But you know what's mad? He's kept quiet for 14 years. That's wild.
Yeah, but I need to understand his motivations for keeping quiet for 14 years. Was it fear of this contract? Because you have money.
Yes, fair contracts.
Are you sure?
Yes, he did say it was fair contracts. He wasn't
dealing with Kris Jenner, the black belt today. He was dealing with Kris Jenner.
No, but I think what makes this time different is that now you're painting him as a rapist.
Okay.
That's so different to someone who just leaked the tape.
Yeah.
Because he's been enjoying the benefits of that as well. Because even her response was, she was like, oh, we built businesses now, blah, blah. Like, there has been some benefits of that. There definitely has been.
Okay.
Because we don't know, obviously he's part of the Norwood family, blah, blah, but we don't know how relevant Ray J would be if the text had been happened. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's definitely been some benefits, but I think that, and they have spoken over the years. It's not like they've stopped talking over the years. They do talk over the years.
Again,
But I think when you now, because she's got a family. The reason why she's upset was because her son saw a crying face. He's got a daughter and he's got a son. But it's different now when because that was all consensual, right? And allegedly he just leaked it. Cool, whatever. But now that you're painting him out to be a rapist, and then her response to that was, oh, like you could tell it was sarcasm, and I laughed after. Really? You're gonna laugh? You're gonna make a joke about rape and say that it was sarcasm and it shouldn't swear it. I'm shy for the whole family personally. I actually can't believe they did that, and I just think I'm very disgusted by it. I'm very disgusted by it. I wonder if he's got a leg to sue. It's very difficult when you had a contract.
My thing is that the only thing that would matter to me in this situation is getting my reputation back and looking as much of a victim as possible.
And I really want him to do that. I want him to go on a press tour.
If I was him,
come on TDA.
I would put a neck brace around my neck. I would put a bandage around my leg, and I would say, "Look what this has done to me." I will hobble up and down the road, crying for help, because I think he doesn't understand the level of production he has to put into this for it to even matter.
Trust me, I think he's got something coming.
Bro, did you see Jordan Woods? Is that her name?
Oh yes, and the red table talk.
No, forget that. My thing is with that was a situation where she did something wrong, but so did Tristan.
He kissed her. She didn't kiss him.
Right. So, whatever happened, they both did something outside of what they should have done.
Yeah.
Cool. Because Tristan was still aligned with the Kardashians, the only people that flogged him were like women. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but everybody, the rest of the world literally flogged Jordan. They flogged her. The head of companies were like, we're not fucking with her anymore because that's the kind of person you are. She was like, bro, I don't even know how a grown woman deals with that. Let's remember Cameron and Flight. Like, it's hard to deal with this shit. And they did not care. You were an enemy of the Kardashians. So I don't think Ray J understands. They're going to ignore him. They're not going to say a damn word because that's what's worked for them for 400 years. He's got to bring some level of confetti and production for this to even matter. People love the Kardashians, you know.
Yeah.
They can actually do wrong and still be okay. So
and they do wrong and they're still okay.
So I feel like it's up to Ray J how far he wants to push this.
I hope he pushes it to the horse's head. I really do. I really do.
Is there any other things on Word on the Road?
The Kardashians took all of it, all my time. So tomorrow, hopefully they're not in the news tomorrow. I can bring you something different.
I don't mind if they're in the news. They are an interesting family.
They are.
But there's more news around the world. So over to E-News. I'm making that stick, you know.
No, I was going to say, if the Kardashians were still on there, we'd be next on their soon list.
Don't mind them, innit?
But yeah, go on.
Yes. Okay, so welcome to my segment.
We're not going to get rid of this first one, are we?
What do you mean?
Sorry, your segment.
The first one.
The Brokeman thing. It's been there for 3 years now.
But yes, welcome to my segment where I give you the news from an economics point of view and let you know why it should be important to you.
Oh!
You like that, yeah? You like that?
Okay. He's been brainstorming. He said, I deserve this.
You went home and he said, I said, I deserve this space.
He said, I'm going to pass probation. You watch. Love it.
Tell us what it should be. I
I like that.
I like that. And Brent said he didn't believe in you.
Look at that.
I love this, man.
All right, so basically, the first thing is Young Thug. Young Thug seems to have some good economic policies for the
Stop
hood.
it.
We
Do you
signed
know
up
what?
to
The
this
hood
one.
does need it. Do you know the hood does need it?
He said broke men shouldn't have kids.
And
And
they
I
shouldn't.
agree.
I agree with
That
that.
is scientifically sound.
I'm telling you.
I
done
agree
a
with that, but I
study.
think broke people need sex because it makes them feel good. There's something
Yeah,
good going on.
Like literally, it's free entertainment.
It's free entertainment.
It's Netflix without having to pay for it. Like it's free. Sex is free. That's a fucking soundbite.
No comment. Ines?
So Young Thug said, yeah, we need new rules, man. If you're dead broke, if you're a broke ass nigga,
Wow.
you should not be able to nut.
Ah.
Yeah, you're bringing poor
That's
kids
a bit
into the
deep.
world. This is what he said. You're making niggas rob and kill and steal because you're running around with no type of career, no
Wow.
nothing. He said, yeah, now your kids growing up and wants
What is that
Who
song?
at him?
yeah.
Broke niggas don't
Deserve
deserve
no
no
kitty.
kitty.
I know that's
right.
right. He must have loved that song, boy. I'm surprised he
Yeah.
didn't jump on a remix.
He said, and now your kids are growing up looking at Young Thug and his gang. This is what he said.
What? Looking at what?
What? He said looking like
Looking
me
up-
and my friends.
Yeah.
I said looking up to him. They want to be Young Thug and his gang.
I
Oh,
guess
I thought
so,
he said
yeah.
looking like. I thought he said
No,
he
no,
looked
not
homeless.
looking
Oh,
like.
okay.
Oh,
my
dear.
days.
Oh, no, Corey,
Yes.
not you.
No, no, I'm saying that's what you said. That's what,
No,
anyway.
no. But
Um,
to be fair to him, this is what he said. He said, like having kids, it's not easy, right? That yes, sorry, let me get the quotes. Sometimes he thinks, what the hell was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even
But
like
he's
taking
rich.
care of the kids, yeah. But he said the main part is you won't be able to do what you always did.
Someone tell Nick Cannon that
Yeah.
because he needs to.
He said that's the number one rule to having a kid. You can't be who you were. And like we were saying the other day,
It's kind of deep.
and this is what I was saying the other day. Like, I just respect it when people actually think first before deciding to have a kid.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the problems in the black community, yes, 100% the white man did this and the white man did that, and the white man will continue to do this and that.
Okay.
But we can help ourselves by having a strong family network. You know what I'm saying? And that
Family
requires thinking about the kids we're going to have and how we're going to provide for them. You know what I'm saying? So I think Young Thug was definitely on something there. So big up, man, like Young Thug.
I
Do
think
you know what? I don't
I
even
agree.
I agree with it.
I
I,
agree.
I do think that I don't think people who are not able to take care of the children
Financial
financially
position,
should
yeah.
have children. I just think
Yeah.
it's struggle and you're giving birth to struggle and it's just it can be a
Yeah, and I'm
generational
not
thing.
policing
Just
your
stop.
penis or pussy. I'm not. I'm
Mhm.
I'm literally advising that this shit ain't cheap. And
Yeah.
it will be a lot of more stress on you. Imagine having like this cute little thing looking up to you
Mhm.
and you didn't think
Just-
about it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Because that's like the average, I
that.
think. Like 7 minutes, if that. Do you know what I mean? That and text messages is what's going to lead you to 18 years of commitment. And the thing is that it's not 18 years of commitment that happens. It has to happen. It's
Yeah.
like there's so many things that you
Yes.
can put in place before that. You can still have those 7 minutes of fun and the text messages and the good morning texts and the arguments. You can have all of that, but you need to be a bit more intentional about what that leads to.
100%,
Because
100%.
you could, like, I think even if you have all the money in the world, taking care of children is still hard. Like, I think,
Yeah, 100%.
I think
yeah.
it's still a big
It still is.
commitment,
Yes.
a big investment. You're
Yeah.
being judged on the outcome of this as well. It's an
Mhm.
18-year test. And I just
Yeah.
kind of feel like, just be more intentional so that you only can do what you handle. And it will make a
Exactly.
better life for the child as well. Yes,
Yeah.
you can love the child.
And think about the impact it has on you. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, the number one rule to having kids is you can't be who you were. And you have to have that understanding. You can't then
That's
say, because I was
crazy.
doing this for the past 25 years, I'm going to continue for the next 25 years. And you've got 2-3 kids at home.
So what's something that you can't do once you have children?
You can't just wake up one morning and say, I want to go raving. You can't say, I can't just spend money frivolously on different things.
Yeah.
You got to pay for nursery. You got to pay for food.
Yeah.
There's just, different things, man, you have to really consider.
I will say Young Thug definitely dropped a word there, but I need him to also address the men, maybe next time he can do this. Address the men who have multiple kids with multiple women. Nick Cannon. Because I just think that is one thing having children, as many children as you want to, but
Yeah.
you can't actually be there in each child's life
Yes.
for these kids. And I think it's not enough to just be rich and be able to provide for them. You
He's
provide
made
for them
it-
emotionally and stuff.
He's made it very clear that he doesn't believe he's going to live for a long time. I think he's
And I
got
think
health
that's such a
issues.
selfish thing to
Is
do.
that what he said?
He
Yeah,
has
that's
health
why he's having
issues.
this
He's got lupus, right? Or something like
I'm
that.
not
Not
sure.
too
Yes,
sure.
one like that. And
Um,
that's why he's having these children.
And
Oh,
he
wow.
said, so he's here and he's loving these women and he's bringing about these children. And I think like we said, selfish doesn't mean it's not necessarily like a horrible, like it's a
Oh,
bad trait.
I meant this one in a bad way.
No, but what I'm saying, he's very much, it shows the different mindsets, that legacy mindset. This is another way in which it can really manifest.
Yeah.
And I think it also taps into this idea of how much the difference and how much men and women have to be. If a woman was going to pass away soon, and she was out getting pregnant tons and tons and tons, people will be like, why? Because there's not going to be here to take care of the kid. It shows how much less we expect
from men
the role of. Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you something. If someone said you got 10 years left, even if it's 10 years, 20 years, and someone's like, I've got a condition, and I hope he doesn't pass away, do you know what I mean? Or anything like that. But if a woman said, I've been given 20 years, like that's a still long time, but so I'm going to have as many children as I possibly. You would arrest her. You would put on metal panties on her because you're like, that is irresponsible because you're not going to be there to take care of these children. I think it shows how the fact that a lot of people don't immediately think that way about what Nick Cannon's doing. They're like, actually, fair enough. He's not going to be here for a long time. Let him sow his seed. It shows that as a society, we default don't expect men to actually feed that much into the day to day. And how many of us have said having a father in your life is so important. Even women, girls that don't have their fathers in their lives, or men that don't, they know something should be there. No matter what, when you heal, you realize actually there was something that should be there. Like in my adult life, that's an acknowledgement I've made. Like, I was working on a default, like on a minus. I'm glad how it turned out. I loved what was present, but having the role of certain other men in my life was like, raw. So I was meant to have this non-stop all the way through.
All the way through.
What the fuck would I have been? I wouldn't have gone through self-worth and all these conversations in my own head. Do you know what I mean? So I think. But is he meant to not have kids? That's the other side of the argument.
I don't think the ones you had, you should embrace those ones and spend as much time with those ones because now you've got too many to spread yourself thin for. You know, Nick Cannon stays working.
Is it too many though?
That it is too many. That man stays working, and I just think that now you've got to spread yourself thin amongst so many children. He's like on his 8th or 9th now, I'm sure.
But
every other week someone's pregnant
for them in a very.
No, but you know what it is though? To provide for a child financially is so different to provide for a child emotionally.
I 100% agree with you.
And I think sometimes there's rich kids. There's kids whose parents were there financially and give them everything they wanted, but then the parents were never present. And they would tell you, I'd rather we're all broke and at least I had that.
Are they in different states though, the women?
Who knows?
Do I think he needs to? I think he needs to have like a Playboy
big
mansion.
house. Yeah.
Everybody move in.
Compound.
Okay, so
and they're all moving. I think he should do that.
If he had that, would that be okay then?
I think it makes it a bit better. It's still not okay because you won't be able to. You just can't spend one-to-one time with each child and know each child the way you should. You know, when they're numerous.
You know, people used to have lots of kids because the idea was poor healthcare. Bare of them are going
to die.
Die. And so some of them are going to be alive to pass.
And you need to work as well.
So now just having bare kids that are all going to live until 100, which amen, they will live long, prosperous lives, is like, oh, this, you know, it's a defeating of the purpose kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, my question, this is, Finny, you're about to fuck it up.
Screaming.
One of the things that helped me kind of process and progress in my relationship and my ideas is that maybe what we are looking at in terms of the father figure is a very Western point of view on what a dad should be.
Okay.
I'm just throwing this out there, because
she said, don't fight me.
You know, I mean, fight me when I'm done. Like, you know what I mean? But when I accepted that my idea of fatherhood came from my wife and kids, and it came from like a lot of like, I love Michael Kyle, but someone who's invested in that way, I realized that that's what I envision a father to be. But what if fathers from a particular culture envision themselves to just be financial providers? All of this other emotional stuff, they never needed it. They don't think their kids need it. So that is a thought that I wanted to put out there. Yeah. And I'm not saying that the white man has the pattern on what a good father is. Definitely not saying that. Yeah. I do agree that you need to be able to see your child. The child needs to see you as an example, not just the bank.
Yeah.
But are we asking for black to be white? Are we
romanticized?
Are we
but why are we seeing that as a white structure though?
I'm only saying where my ideals of lack of a present father comes from is from like Western TV. So I'm not saying it's a white man thing. I'm saying it's just what I've seen in it. Like, so so that's
because I was just gonna say like you said, my wife and kids and for example the Cosby Show and things like that. These are black families.
Yes, 100%.
So even though it's like Western TV,
It's
still black families.
But this is what I'm saying. My critique isn't on the shade and color. I'm saying cultures.
Okay.
Like in like we know a lot of Muslim families believe in these and that's not a black or white thing. There's Asians. Do you know what I mean? They believe in having children, providing for the children.
Yeah.
Their pride comes from the fact that they can provide for the children, not that the fact that they know their child's favorite color.
Yeah.
So is it wrong to judge them on? I know my favorite. I went to her piano recital. Is it wrong to judge them on that? Bear in mind, what I want for my kid is a Michael like a actively, almost annoyingly present father. Like that's what I really want. I think that's going to make an amazing son and
100%.
daughter. But is it wrong for us to? Because I wouldn't critique Asian dancing on hip hop dancing. Do you know what I mean? I would. Is it? Do you know what I'm saying? Is there a conversation there to be had? Like, oh, is there only one type of father? Is it fundamentally wrong to only be like a financial presence? I would say yes.
I get exactly what you're saying. Like to me, right? I feel like, I mean, obviously there are some absolute wrongs, right?
Yeah.
Just like there's absolute truth and stuff like that. But I feel like what makes the situation wrong or more wrong is where you have a particular ideal and don't strive for that. So for example, if you believe it should be like Michael Kyle's situation, but then end up with a situation where, God forbid, your husband now.
I don't like you pointing at me. Talk about Rachel. Rachel here.
All right, Rachel over there. Yeah. Her man now has kids with, let's say, 5 different women. That would make it wrong because to you it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I think perspective is everything, to be fair. Because to me personally, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to have kids with multiple women. Personally, that's what I think. Because I believe in like polygyny. But I think it can definitely...
Polygyny?
Basically, it's like polygamy, but it's not where women can have multiple husbands. It's just where men can have multiple wives.
Do you believe in polygyny?
Yes. I believe it.
You fucking polygynist.
I need to add that to my...
Yesterday you're a conservative. Today you're polygynist.
I'm not a conservative.
Believes in death, capital death, punishment.
No, because
that stuff is
why,
the worst bad day.
This is probably like...
No, this is interesting.
We need like more time for this discussion, right? But I think in some communities, it's a beautiful thing. And it works. You know what I'm saying? Like today in London, I don't think it necessarily works. Especially if the women don't have that idea where I can be a co-wife, for example.
Co-wife?
No,
this is interesting, please.
You know what I'm saying? Because obviously if you've got a family network where the women are beefing, that's not a family. It's not a productive family. But to have a family where everyone knows their roles, right? And everyone is acting in accordance with that role, right? And the way Esther's looking at me, and everyone's doing their role, I think it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Like family this size is beautiful. Family this size is beautiful.
Wow.
That's how I see it.
My thing, I would understand why you would find it beautiful because it's your dick that's getting wet by whoever you want that particular day, right? But I would say, so was that not the right English? Because as a monogamist, no, on a serious level, for me personally, I think sometimes men like to make a sacred rule out of something that just feels good to you.
I agree with you.
And I feel like sometimes you genuinely can't separate that. Like, of course, a whole network of women and children that look at you as Jesus because you are the only man in that.
Yeah.
The fact that you guys have made that even a root in life, I think is rooted very much in self-pleasure. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have a problem. If you're a woman that wants to be in something like this, go and fly.
And this is what I was saying. But if it's wrong to you and you do it, then it becomes wrong.
But I need to understand why a woman would want that. So I don't mind. I understand why you would want it.
Yeah.
My thing is that any woman that does want that, if I could be cheeky enough to ask why you think that is better than something else. Not because I'm going to critique you. I just want to understand because I can't see how I'm benefiting in that situation. I think we need to
find a woman who's in a polygynous family and come on the show. But also just to kind of counteract what you just said, you said you know the reason why I or men would like it.
I can assume why. So
exactly.
Sorry. Yeah, I can assume why.
Again, every nation is made up of different communities. Every community is made up of family. Family is that structure that every successful community, nation is built upon. Right? So if you go to the core of it, man, woman, child, right? But some communities, depending on obviously the aims and objectives of that particular culture and people, require that we have a certain amount of kids, right? And just looking at nature, women can only be pregnant once every 9 months,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Let's just say once a year.
Mhm.
A man can get a woman pregnant 365 days a year.
I could stab 20 people today. Don't mean I should. Like, I could literally go.
And I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
And this is where the order comes in. No, 100%. But basically what I'm saying is nature, but then looking at the processes that we all need, for example, to run in a particular way so that we can have a proper, productive society, you then say to yourself, is this good for me? Is this good for culture?
Mm.
And I believe in some cultures, polygyny is a fantastic thing.
Mm.
In some, I think it's horrible. And that's basically my standpoint.
question would be like, just law of averages,
Yeah.
there's going to be some men that don't have any women.
Yes.
And that's what, in your polygamy society, where do those men live?
Well, are you talking about men that still they want women?
So if everybody was a what you said, pippin, yeah, would they have?
No, PP.
They would get, like, let's say the average is about 7 women, right?
Mhm.
And then all the kids that come from that.
Mhm.
But if you're having 7 women to 1 man,
Yeah.
there's going to be a bunch of men that don't.
I don't like, for me personally, I don't think it should be like 7 women.
How many?
It could be
should
just 2. It could be 3. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're a
And
diet
plus-
polygamist. That's nice.
No, I'm just being like real, like, all right, right now.
By the way, I'm not critiquing it. I think,
yeah,
you
just-
know,
yeah.
I think I think it would work for some people,
Mm.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying.
I think it would work for some people. I just want to understand the mental, because sometimes you think things are going to work for you,
Mhm.
then later on in life you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this was right for me. And
Mhm.
what I don't want is some of these women like looking in the future and think, I don't know if this was right for me.
Yeah, can I ask you a question that seems unrelated?
Yeah.
Would you like to live on a farm?
Yeah.
Cool. If you, in America, right, there's certain people.
How did you know that? That's so random, but yeah, continue.
So, right, there's certain families that live in farms and live in the outskirts of, mainland society. They have one man at the core,
Mhm.
the nucleus of that family, 4 different women, multiple kids, obviously, from all 4 women. They cook their own, they grow their own food, they build their homes. Every single thing that you see in a community, in a society,
Mhm.
is happening in that family. To me, when I see that level of productivity, how can I say this is wrong? How?
Do you know why there's that level of productivity, in my opinion?
Mhm.
It's because there's less options. As in, there's a clear leader, which I'm guessing would be the man.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's not just this, he's the only penis having person. He's the central focus of this situation.
Okay.
Everything you've described, it feels to me like he's the nucleus of it.
Cool.
So the reason why this is working is because there's no options. This is the person you're trying to please. This is the person. And also, I think you're saying all this very logically, but I think we're forgetting about the emotional implications of this. There's going to be a favorite. There's going to be, do you know what I mean? Imagine that in your intimate relationship, being weighed up, and anytime he's pissed with you, he's gonna go to Barbara, who secretly hates you and has put judging on your kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not critiquing. It sounds like I'm critiquing. I think it's fine, but I think a lot of the times when women, it feels like a lot of the time when women go into this is because of, like, I don't know if it's coming from them, and maybe that's wrong to say, but I'm just like, why would a woman pick to be one of 4?
I think it's, sorry to cut you, but I think it's also because some women, I can't speak for women, but they look at things logically. They say to themselves, there's 2 women for every man, right? Some of us will never get married. I want to have that security.
Okay.
Especially if this is a man that can provide for me and my children. If he passes away, there's certain things that's in place for me and my kids. I may not have this option if I, do not have kids with this man, for example. So there's that. And like we said before, many people get married for different reasons.
Yeah, no. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
So with that, plus the fact that they love the man too, how can we look at that and say that's a bad thing?
Yeah, I think it's just different. I really want to go down on record and say that it's not for me,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's a bad thing. And I do think this logical thing often removes love and removes all of these requirements for a higher self. And I just feel like a lot of men say anyway, love and fairy tales is what's fucked up the Western woman. So who knows? I think go for you, but just don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Don't let me marry you. And then I look around and I'm in a polygamous. Just don't lie to me.
100%.
Which I think a lot of dudes, that is how they approach these kind of situations.
But that's because a lot of these guys have no proper home training. These people just do no, for real. No home training.
I'm liking this e-news section.
No home training, no proper family planning, nothing. Like, to me, that's a cardinal sin to say, I'm going to have kids with multiple women and I can't provide for those women, let alone their children.
Can I say one thing that I think men also forget?
Mhm.
For you to be the central person in this nucleus,
Yeah.
is incredibly hard. Like,
Very
it's
hard.
not
Yes.
going to be easy. As
Yeah.
in, the stress you think your father went through,
Mhm.
where he was with his mum and they were sleeping in separate beds
Yeah.
and that, I'm telling you right now, it's way harder. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. A lot of men enter this thinking about their dick being wet and not the amount of emotional,
100%.
physical,
I agree
and
with you.
financial
I
pressure
agree
that's going to
with
be
you.
on them to be the head of a
100%.
four-woman household.
100%.
And I think if men thought about that, they would stay single. Like, literally.
Boy.
Because,
Or only responsible men that can do it would do
but
it.
I think very small percentage of human beings could handle that much
I
pressure.
agree with you. I agree with you.
And you think you're one of them.
I'm not saying me. I'm just saying
You said
I
you.
agree with that idea.
Pew, you said you.
Anyway.
Anything else on e-news?
I had a few other things, but
Can we
time
run through
doesn't
them really
permit.
quickly? Or
No, I'll leave it for tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, then, well, guys, let's jump into the next segment where we keep it a little bit lighter. All right, guys, so this is a daily segment we have called Asking for a Friend. Esther, you didn't say much in the last segment. Your eyes said a lot. Your face said a
I
lot.
have nothing to say.
But I
just
miss
think
your voice. So
every time I'm here, men just
reminds
me
Why?
Of how
of why
great
men
the world
stay
Why-
men in. That's what I had nothing to say to that. So yeah.
But can you lead this segment so we can
Of
help the
course,
women out?
babes,
Because
of
it's dangerous in
course.
these streets.
Let me read the first asking for a friend. So, hi team, you guys are so great. Please
Oh,
don't ever stop
thanks.
recording again.
Aww.
Tell the men that. so I'm asking this for a friend who is a 25-year-old Ghanaian girl who has a best friend of 5 years and he's 27.
Mhm.
My friend's issue is that her best friend is really attracted to her, but hasn't confessed this to her. My friend isn't attracted to him at all, doesn't see him in that way and never will. My question is there any way that she can make him unattracted to her while still maintaining the friendship?
Is that on? Is that on? Can I be marks for this episode? Can I be marks for this episode? I'll do it from here.
Yeah,
do
channel
it
your
from
marks
there.
there.
I'll do it from here. I didn't bring a hat, man, because I don't, I got hair. But okay, cool. Do you want to start? I'm going to try my best to be marks.
What I'm going to say, yeah.
She's Egypt. She's Egypt. She's on the Egypt thing. Like, man didn't even tell you he liked you. You're just,
Okay.
Man didn't even say nothing.
Marks, I agree.
Thank you.
Mark's
Pen game,
point,
pen
I
game,
agree.
Hackney.
Never, no matter how much you think a guy likes you, until it comes out of his mouth,
And in his actions.
it's the biggest mess up to
Just relax.
assume.
Unless women are just long, like, just
How
unnecessary
do you
stress.
want to break up a situation that hasn't even started? Ma'am.
So
Ma'am?
That's what I talk about women, man. That's what I'm
Ma'am.
saying about women. That's what I'm saying. Pen game out now. Yeah, no, this is crazy. You must
Yeah,
be young.
I think-
Oh, she's 25.
No, she's 25 and he's
Oh.
27. But I think don't ever assume that a guy likes you. Let a guy say it. And when he says it, let it lead, let it follow with actions. Let the action and the words match. Don't assume. But I think that there's nothing she can do to make him unattracted to her. You're a beautiful babe. Embrace it. Live in that. The guy that you want to be attracted to you, that you're attracted to also will come.
Yes.
But I don't think you should have a conversation about anything off your assumptions. And guys have egos. So now you're going to, even though he might have been doing things that makes her think this,
It's 'cause
now
it's
she'll
gonna be
address it and be like, I don't see him that way. Now he's going to flip it and be like, I don't feel that way. What are you talking about? So personally, I just think that still be friends. If you can be friends with him and it's not uncomfortable for you, stay friends with him. And don't say anything until he tells you something. If he tells you that he finds you attractive and blah, blah, then say, do you know what? I'm not really feeling this.
Okay, so let's assume she's right?
Yeah, that he does
And
like
that
her.
he does.
Find her attractive and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would your advice be?
Babes, you still got to come to me with chest. I don't be rolling off assumptions. You have to, the way I'm set up, me personally, you have to let me know that I'm feeling you. This is what I want with you. And your actions have to show that for me to be that way. If you propose to me without telling me you like me, I'm going to think it's a joke. I'm not going to take it seriously. So I think if she is right and he does come to her then it's a similar conversation of, do you know what? I don't see you that way. I feel like we're friends. And if it's a difficult thing being friends after that, it's awkward for him or for you, then unfortunately you make new friends.
Personally, but Koi's back. Koi. Yeah, she's back. Personally, for me, I feel like you're a little bit tapped. But do you know what it is? You're tapped.
Are you sure you're not still marked?
No. You're tapped, yeah. I was warming up. The fuck it up part is coming. I'm telling you guys. you're a bit tapped because for me personally, I used to be this kind of tapped in terms of my perception was fact.
Yeah.
And I would really move off my perception. So I would think things, and for me, it was
reality.
It was reality.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that you are not God to know what's going on in somebody's inside. And I think women, because of TV and socialization, we think we have this. I personally think we do have this very good sense of things. But if you were to do a scientific study, there's a lot of times where you're probably wrong. And this is not one of the moments you want to be wrong and strong. However, I do believe in fucking it up. So fine. Go and have this unnecessary conversation with him. You will learn from it. And then when you have a new best friend who's 2 years older than you and you're ready to marry, you will settle down. But go fuck it up, sis. Go and tell him that, yeah, I'm not attracted to you. Have the conversation.
And do you know what? I did want to say as well, though. Actually, no, maybe not. Because I was going to say that sometimes you think you don't like a guy, and then when he tells you he likes you,
like, listen,
you're like, okay. And since the market is tight,
some of us are polygamous and some of us are polyamorous. For me personally, I genuinely feel like we have a very fearful relationship with making mistakes. But so many things come from that lesson, and you remember it because it made you emotionally bleed. So, sis, go and sit him down unnecessarily in Nando's and tell him, I feel like you're feeling me. You haven't said it.
I don't like that.
I don't really like that about you. And when he forshaggers you and when he flogs you emotionally, you will never forget this lesson. Fuck it up.
Do you know what it does? It builds character.
It builds character. And you will never do it again. From then on, you will need a man to outrightly with his chest tell you he likes you.
Even then, you're still going to think, you're going to get PTSD.
You're going to get PTSD. He's going to have to propose to you before you go on a date with him. And that is how you secure your future. Over and out again. There we go. Listen, I'm tired. We're scared of failure. We're scared of getting things wrong. And it means that we do several years of inaction. Fuck it up, learn and move forward.
Me, I'm scared of embarrassment.
Don't worry, sis.
I can't do that.
I advise you to fuck it up sometimes too.
All right, so, okay, second one. Hi, my name is Andrew. Hi, Andrew. I have a friend who has a girlfriend and she keeps talking to another guy that really likes her. It really leaves my friend on edge, but he doesn't want to come across as jealous or possessive. How should he handle this? Or is he wrong to want this to stop? Hashtag asking for a friend. First of all, your friend is not doing what he should be doing. Because when he said it's got him on edge, that's your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is cheating on you and you're on edge.
Then you should have jumped.
You're on edge.
Doesn't come off as jealous or possessive. That
do
means
you know what?
You don't feel... Anyway, Marks, talk later. So continue.
The toxic side of me is like, first of all, sis, well done. Don't ever let your boyfriend keep you from
your man.
From finding your husband. Don't let that happen. Don't ever let that happen, sis. So well done to you. But I think, okay, for the person's
you didn't let your first wife stop you from finding your second, third, or fourth on your farm.
Okay.
So I understand.
So... But I think, personally, that he should confront her about it. And I think that if it's something that she's still doing, I think break up with her.
Big man has no sauce. He has no sauce.
I think it's a bit mad that your girlfriend is cheating and you're on edge.
Big man has no sauce.
You should be planted firmly on that seat and addressing the situation.
I was just about to say that to you.
Because he's entitlement to even, like, okay, you go ahead. You explain.
It's cheating.
We'll tap Margs in.
How?
Anything... What do you mean?
What?
How?
Wait,
when a relationship and our relationship, the rules and terms and conditions of relationships is that it's just you and I. This is where the fancying starts and stops, right? You're not meant to be entertaining anybody else. You're not meant to talk to anybody else. Nothing of any sort. Cheating doesn't have to be just physical. This is emotional cheating. If she's talking to someone that she knows likes her, and she's in a relationship, that is cheating. That's emotional cheating.
She might not know, you know.
She knows.
No, because he's saying that she keeps talking to another guy that really likes her. Do you know how many guys, how many times have you been in a situation and a guy has been like to you, you know that man likes you, you know that?
I would like to reference Dilemma 1.
Dilemma 1.
Girls know when a guy's feeling you, trust me, you know. Because he's...
But we said she could be wrong.
Exactly. You said, she could be wrong.
We said that she could be wrong.
Yeah, she could be wrong. But when a guy likes you and when you're in a relationship, you know what conversation is inappropriate and what is not inappropriate.
Gal don't even know what they like. Gal don't even know what they like.
Nah,
man.
you know when a guy likes you, man. You know when a guy likes you. You just choosing to not like him back.
But,
I personally think, there's a level of... This reminds me of when I told my mum that I wanted to keep my surname, and she said, any man you marry that allows you to keep your surname is not the kind of son-in-law that I would want.
Auntie, don't say that because I'm keeping mine.
She said that. She was like, because this year is your girlfriend... I think there's certain guys that you just would never try this with. Like talking
100%.
about another guy liking you and approaching you and stuff like that, just because you kind of respect who you're, like the person you're dating is probably Nigerian and you'll never say this to him. That's me just talking in short.
100%.
Because let me think about it. If I was in a relationship that I was really like in and I was really liking, I may mention it once. Like, you know that guy, he tried to talk to me, and it wouldn't come up again because it would have either been dealt with, or because I know who I'm dating, and he will turn this into some sort of bullshit. Some guys will turn this into a right to cheat. You're cheating. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't even, for your own peace of mind, you wouldn't even bring it up because you know how guys be. But when she says he's making him feel jealous or possessive, no, you feel disrespected.
No, he said he doesn't want to address it because he doesn't want to come across jealous or possessive.
But I think you have a...
That's a non-toxic. What's the opposite of toxic? Because I use toxic so much.
Healthy.
Healthy?
It's a healthy guy.
That's a healthy man.
Healthy young man.
That's a healthy young man.
Healthy young man.
I ain't never come across that before. That's very healthy.
Yeah, you're a healthy young man for sure. I would say to you, Andrew, let's make that spicy, Andy. I would say to you, that you feel disrespected.
No, Andy is a friend. So Andy needs to tell his boy.
Okay, right, friend. All right, cool. Andy, you need to tell your boy.
Asking for a friend.
You need to tell your boy. I think let's give you very simple advice here. I feel like your missus either thinks you're not bothered by this or doesn't rate you enough. And I think you need to make clear what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And you don't really have to overly explain it unless you really ask it. Be like, you've mentioned this guy a few times. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't know if you're going to tell her not to talk to him because I don't know if you can. That's the jealous and possessiveness.
It's not.
But
that's not jealous and possessive.
It's not. You feel disrespected.
You feel disrespected.
And
jealous and possessive is when you start going through her phone and watching her moves and following her at work. That's jealous and possessive. Addressing
disrespect.
This is disrespectful.
That's right.
Babes, that's standard.
Before we throw over to the other guy in the room, I feel like how a lot of guys that I know would have dealt with this is to do the exact same and ask her and wait and see how she feels. I don't think you should do that because you're healthy and you're in a good side of this. So I would say just okay, Emman.
Sorry.
say what you want to say.
No, all I was going to say is like the reason why I was silent is because I think both of you handled it correctly in both questions.
Thank you.
Only thing I would say is the first one is no woman should have to try and make herself be unattractive to anybody.
Facts.
Shine bright.
Like a girl. Where did you do that at? Be cute, okay?
Don't be under the bed. Baby,
at all.
Imagine trying to make yourself unattractive.
If the guy can't handle it, tell him to go and bugger off somewhere.
Literally.
All right. But for Mr. Andy, right? 100%, this girl's disrespecting you. 100%. 100%. You need to realize what the situation is.
I wish a guy would.
and seriously, like, talk to her, tell her that, look, this ain't right. If I was to do it to you, case in point, and show her the time you did it to her. Yeah, 100%.
Why are you going to assume Andy's a healthy guy? He's not like you.
Yeah.
No.
He said show her the times that you've done it to her.
Sometimes you can be her friend and you die.
Wow.
So 100%, you need to understand. Listen, it's all about making your point.
If I see you on Monday, I'm going to be in shock.
Look,
we need to have a bet who's going to be the last one standing.
Honestly.
So, look, sometimes you just have to make a point here so that everyone can learn. If something's not right, show them, demonstrate the situation, give them an opportunity to learn from it.
I hate that you grouped yourself with me and Koi's responses because you just took a real left.
Really?
I think we said the
and
same
now
thing.
I'm discombobulated.
We said the same thing.
He said everything you said
No,
was
we
right.
didn't.
He said everything you said was right, but let me add poison.
Let me add it poison.
He said, let me show you the times when I already been doing this.
Don't drag us into this.
Andy,
this is not our brand.
Emman he's on probation, so you got to take everything
exactly
with a lot of salt.
He's here today, might not be here for the next asking for friends.
I would say to you, and I think what me and Esther have said basically is express the fact that you feel disrespected.
Yeah, that is disrespectful.
But what my question is, what do we then expect her to do about it?
I expect to stop talking
but what
to
does
him.
stop talking to
Stop talking to him.
Immediately.
And it's a case where like even if she thinks he likes her or even if she says, because girls will try and this is what I would do, I'll be like, oh, I don't think he likes me. Okay, I'm trying shit. I know he likes me. But even if she tries to play that card, she'll be like, I don't want you talking to him. It's not possessive to say, I feel like something inappropriate is going on there and that guy has feelings for you. There's nothing possessive and jealous about saying, don't talk to him anymore. It's not me policing your life. Don't talk. And if she insists, go on and be his girlfriend.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
simple.
if it's important to you, just voice it.
The market is not as bad for men as it is for women. So, Andy, you'll be fine.
100%.
You'll be okay, Andy.
There's plenty of fish out there, Handy. Mr. Handy.
Not plenty of fish.
Not plenty of fish.com. But yeah, not us even the world and the dating scene. One question at a time. But if you do have any additional questions, make sure that you message into this number 075 648 4173. So that's 075 648 41073. Be sure to include asking for a friend or sis, what would you do? Sis, what would you do is when it's just me and Esther responding, none of Emman's additional source to it. Do you know what I mean? And yes, also feel free to DM us. In fact, I would love to see a DM. So make sure you DM us and hashtag asking for a friend or hashtag sis, what would you do? Once you do it, everybody will do it because you're the plug. You're the smart one. You were early. Do you know what I mean?
And we smart, so.
Do you know what I mean? And we've been giving good advice.
Very good advice.
Two people have already been married based off our advice.
Okay.
Do not check this.
Be next.
Do you know what I mean? Be the next one.
Be the next one.
There you go. But let's jump into something else that's happening in the world. Okay, Elon Musk is back in the news.
Elon Musk is giving me Kardashians.
He's giving me Kanye.
He's just in the news all the time.
Watch when he starts dating Chloe.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh, if that happened.
Would that be good?
Tristan will throw a party. And I will go. I will be.
Tristan will throw a party.
He will throw a party. He's finally got rid of her.
Can I ask you a question? Do men... Are there situations, real situations, where men really don't want to be with a woman? So the way that they do it is to just really make life very unbearable rather than just walking away? Or what is Tristan's mentality as a resident man?
Okay, so
No, resident man.
Brent, pause this part. Basically,
Don't you
or
dare.
mute this part.
Never.
89.72. Right. 89.72% of the time.
Maths.
That is the case.
Really?
100%.
The guy just doesn't want to be there anymore.
This is why I don't just leave. 100%. Yeah.
that's
When you see the signs, the writing's on the wall. Read.
You've let me speak this a couple of times today, and this is not my brand, and I don't like that for me.
But
Elon Musk. I just can't anymore.
All right. But the thing is, am I lying? Because look, this is the thing, right?
Why do we work
Some
so hard?
men-
Why
I
do
thought
we-
you
some
asked that.
men-
You did this.
Is this wrong?
To me,
I don't think... Do you think this is wrong? I think what he's saying is right. I feel like men often know how much they want to give into something.
100%.
But I feel like they're shit in terms of, they don't want to be the bad guy.
That's the
Men's
truth.
biggest fear is not cheating on you or breaking your heart, is being seen as the bad guy. I genuinely feel like that's what I feel like I've heard from all these horror stories I've heard. They do not want to be seen as the bad guy.
Yeah.
So they would rather flog you in the relationship
Bruh.
and you walk away.
Mm.
And the things that women, I think, are taught the opposite. They're taught to try and make shit work. It's such a crazy cycle.
Only thing I would say is, I don't necessarily agree that a man would necessarily, finish you in a relationship.
not
flog you in a relationship.
not
But
flog physically, guys.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
Bruh.
totally,
can we talk?
just show that he's like disinterested or whatever, and treat you bad, I should say. But men know if they want to be there, and like you said before, like you can't. Let me not say you can't, but a lot of the time you can't change his mind. You know what I'm saying? He knows. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important that women kind of see certain signs and ask themselves, are they willing to, invest this much time into something that will inevitably go nowhere?
So what about situations like, because I was thinking about this the other day, Cardi B, and I know we're talking about Elon. We'll get back to Elon, Brent.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel him.
I was thinking you cut this all bit out.
Really? What's the issue with this conversation?
It's just to stay on topic.
Oh, you're saying
I'm in my producer bag.
Okay, guys. Well,
Yeah,
tune
guys,
in for another
yes,
time
exactly.
for the rest of this conversation. All right, so Elon Musk, let me tell you the story. 26 NGOs, that's non-governmental organizations and adversary groups, signed a letter expressing concern about Elon Musk's plan to take over Twitter. This is some of what the letter said. To whom it may concern, Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter will further toxify our information ecosystem and be a direct threat to public safety, especially among those already most vulnerable and marginalized. It also says Twitter has outsized influence in shaping both public discourse and industry-wide platform governance standards. While the company is hardly a poster child for healthy social media, it has taken welcome steps in recent years to mitigate systematic risk.
Ratcheting up.
Come on, up pressure on the likes of Facebook and YouTube to follow suit. Musk intends to steamroll those safeguards and provide a megaphone to extremists who traffic in disinformation, hate, and harassment. I think they're talking about Trump there, and as well as other people. Under the guise of free speech, his vision will silence and endanger marginalized communities and tear at the fraying fabric of democracy. Musk responded to the letter by asking who funded them. Money talks. The answer being an assortment of dark money groups. Like, what's a dark money group?
Brent,
It's giving
can you
Illuminati.
give us some? Yeah, basically.
It's given Illuminati.
All them groups that's associated with some type of conspiracy.
Okay.
Yeah. You know the they that they speak of.
Okay.
I feel like
Yeah.
they are they.
The white man. That's
Mhm.
them
Okay.
white men.
The ones who kind of, I guess, the hidden hand.
The hidden
Yeah.
hand.
In
Being a hidden hand. Oh
Right.
man, I want to apply. No, I don't. Like George Soros Open Society Foundation, NGOs founded by former Clinton and Obama administration staffers, wealthy Democrat donors and their families' foundations, labor unions, and the governments of European nations.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow, those are rooms, but those are influencers.
Mhm.
In the letter, they're asking for Twitter's top advisors to make non-negotiable demands of him, like keeping accounts of public figures and politicians that were removed for
Egregious.
There we go.
violations of Twitter rules, such as harassment, violence, and hateful conduct off the platform.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know-
basically, he's trying to bring back every villain. That's
what they fear.
The hidden history of billionaires behind the rise of the radical right.
Mm-hmm.
So, racist billionaires.
Yeah.
KKK.
With a hidden hand that's trying to control things and
It's
you
wild.
don't necessarily know.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Manipulating.
yeah, sounds like to me they're trying to tell the owner of a company how to run his company.
Yeah, but
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah,
Much.
that is what they're doing, and I get why. I'm not.
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's mad.
This is what I said, dickheads. So we spoke before we got online. We spoke about how there's apparently in society there's 1% of society are psychopaths, but when it comes to billionaires,
Mhm.
3% or 4% of them are psychopaths, qualified like they can qualify.
Not
psychopaths.
qualified.
Yeah, not those freelance ones, but yeah,
That's
like
so funny.
but the reason why I say that is because I do feel like stuff like free speech is often used to describe just being reckless, like
Hate.
just
Yeah.
being absolutely
Yeah.
That's true.
hateful. Like, do you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and being and stuff like being straightforward is
Yeah.
used to describe not having tact.
Mhm.
And these are
Mm.
things that we in our society today we actually look to and we actually look up to, and we're like, wow, man, I wish I could be as free spirited as you.
Mhm.
And this is crazy because I don't think I really kept up with Elon Musk, but I never thought of him as necessarily a bad guy. But people have really strong opinions about him. Is he seen as racist?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard the racist.
Yeah, I haven't
allegation.
heard racist, but is he classed as like what is if somebody if an alien was to come to this country and ask you to describe the popular opinion of Elon Musk, what would you say?
Billionaire, creative, genius. Yeah, those are the things that come to mind. To be fair,
Okay.
in
In terms of personality and stance. And stuff.
personality, he's an introvert.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, okay.
He's an introvert. He's very. I think he's got some emotional issues where pretty much he's one of those guys where they always need to be in a relationship. Apparently,
Oh, really?
yeah. So like, I think he's been married 3 times now. Yeah.
And
This
not
is his
one of
third
those times
marriage.
it was me. Wow.
So the first time I think again, Ben may have to fact check this, but I think first time he had 6 kids.
he has 6 kids.
He had 6 kids with the first lady, if I'm not mistaken. 6 kids. And I think there was a lot of turmoil in the relationship, and they went counseling, and he was like, look, and this kind of goes back to what you were talking about in terms of the whole psychopath thing. And he was like, look, if we don't sort out this marriage today, right?
Mhm.
Tomorrow I'm gone. So he saw it very direct, like, look, there's issues, but we can sort this out today. Let's not waste more time gallivanting
Dilly-dallying.
around the place and doing stuff. And
Mad.
obviously, as a woman,
She said no.
I was thinking.
yeah. So the next day he filed for divorce.
As a logical human being, she said no.
So he filed for divorce the next day.
It's why sometimes people say they want to date rich men. I think, are you sure?
He kept
Babe,
his word.
I say that like, this high profile
You
men
sure?
thing, it feels
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you lot are really thinking about the reality of dating these
Yeah.
kind of people. It feels
Yeah.
like a very tiring experience.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, again, Brent, I have to fact check, but I think his second wife, he married her after like a couple weeks of meeting.
Was he a
I'm not-
billionaire at this point?
Yeah, these times he's got money. 100%.
She even
And
waited
then
a
the
couple
third
weeks.
one, and the
She's
third
slow.
one, the third one, I think, is the woman he's with now. I think they got 1 or 2 kids. I can't remember. But yeah,
So he has a lot of kids.
yes.
I didn't know that. I thought this was his first. The one that's name is XYZ. I
Mm.
thought that child was his first kid.
No, he's got other kids. Yeah.
Wow. He can,
He's been innovating for years, you know. It's not just like Tesla. Like he was behind PayPal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 100%.
oh shit.
Yeah. I think he developed PayPal with some other guys when he was in college.
So I'm saying, what was I doing when I was in school?
Mezzing up.
I was going to say popping babies.
No.
What was you doing at 21?
I was in meditation, guys.
That's
Thank you
so
very much. Okay, cool. All right. Well, yes. What is our thoughts on this though? Do we feel like they have a right to kind of question how he runs his company? Do they have valid fears? Are these valid fears?
I think they have valid fears because there are some animals out there who just enjoy just spewing hate. And some of these words can cause the death of people, man. It's very dangerous. But at the same time, freedom of speech is a necessary part of society. We need it.
But I feel like freedom of speech should not include hate, man. It shouldn't include hate that is...
choose, you know what I'm saying?
No, but it shouldn't include hate that can endanger a life.
100%, I agree with you.
And racism can.
It's what comes with freedom of speech. And I guess when you take away certain people's freedoms, you take away the progression of society too.
You still got freedom. Say in your head. You just don't want to hear it out loud. You ain't got to say it out loud because it's mad, man.
I guess you got to see it from the other perspective where a lot of things we talk about today, for example, as the 4% of this country, if they censored our views about the police, where would we get to?
Sorry, racism works one way.
No. I'm just giving you an example. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah,
but I agree with you.
I can't imagine the first day, not even the first day, the first 30 minutes that Trump comes back to Twitter, it's going to be curtains. Might start a war.
I think he's definitely going to bring Trump back because I think certain
people,
their commitment is not to a better society, but to elements of what would create a better society. Some people, free speech is all they care about. It's not because free speech, because it will lead to this, wherever it leads to is where it leads to, but they are very much about, free speech.
Americans love us free speech. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's a land that was kind of just developed on vibes.
Yeah, literally rights to firearms and free speech.
It's literally a white man. It's literally a white man's dream. Those two things, like I can say what I like, I can shoot what I like, and then they built a whole country, and then other people happen to be there or were brought there, obviously. But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like this is just a really old conversation that no one's gonna ever have an answer to. It just comes down to who has the power, and he has the power, and I don't see him listening. His response demonstrates somebody who is committed to this vision. But it's also funny because let's say the people that are saying this, I don't think they're saying it for the benefit of black people coming up. They have their own things that they're trying to protect. So it's a war between two funny forces, and we're just trying to catch whatever grains we can. So like I think you said, take care of yourself, guys.
That's it.
Literally. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go straight over to Marg's section. You ready, Margs? What? Is it my section? I'm awake.
You got to sit up.
I'm awake. Brent, is it me? Yeah. Oh, God. All right, then. Well... So, like I've always said about police officers, y'all done out here. Do you know what I mean? So this police officer, this dickhead, what does he say? This idiot. He cheated on his girl. First of all, he got caught. He cheated on his girl, and then after he cheated on his girl, he decided he was gonna lie about her to Crime Stop. He watches Crime Stoppers, bro. That's crazy.
So you're a snitch, he's gonna say.
Yeah, you're a snitch. First of all, you're a snitch. Then you can't keep your gal. You're an idiot. I think that's the best I can do, guys.
Well done.
Thank you very much. So you're done out here. Do you know what I mean?
You know what it is? First of all, you got caught for cheating. You're done out here, so you're not smart.
Yeah.
Secondly, you were lying about her. You're done out here for that as well. Then you were snitching on crimes that she was doing.
Can you imagine?
Mad.
And you're a police officer, big man.
What gets to me is the type of lies, though, like you said earlier.
It was so dramatic. It was like he was giving Netflix, like, make them realistic.
He was watching Netflix and said, fuck it, yeah. Those are.
I feel like they didn't catch him. Next thing would have been like she robbed the bank or something.
Snowfall? Alright, cool, yeah.
You know, it's
you know armed police went to her house, right?
No.
That must have been so terrifying.
He's
Miles would then go into like actually liking a part of the story and then talk about, do you know what? Like now that I'm in it and I'm thinking about it, let's talk about the dumbness of this shit.
There's nothing wrong with you having options.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong. Just to get caught next time.
Big man, there's other girls. You see, there's other girls. We miss you, Miles, but still. But yeah, you're done out here. And did they actually say his name?
They did, you know.
They did. Let's get his name because it's not done out here if you don't have his name. Exactly.
It's very important.
All right, let's get that up.
PC.
Not PC.
Abu Bakar Masum.
Oh no, is he Nigerian?
No.
No, he's
He ain't black.
Oh, he's
He's Asian, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, and his girlfriend's name is Mia Pittman.
Oh, sounds like a lovely white
They're
girl.
both 24, 23.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no way.
They're
24,
young.
yeah.
I thought he was like proper old and jilted and like, bro.
Can we actually stay
Look
on
at
top
this
of this?
picture
I
of
want to know.
him. Oh,
I want to know how much time he gets.
No, guys, look
No,
at
he's
this
not
picture
going
of
to
them.
get in. He's just been sacked.
That's the girl,
Yeah.
and that's the guy. I don't know if you can see him, but he
like
could literally
like
get
a
another
weirdo.
girl yesterday. Like, he
Yeah.
really could have.
But his
sad.
CV is going to be mangled right now.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the perfect CV to be a police officer. Anyway,
This is someone that looks possessive and jealous. But
the fact that
anyways,
he's smiling is a bit mad, but that could be a selective picture. You
What
know how the
weirdo.
media be doing. But yeah, you're done out here. You're absolutely done
you're
out
absolutely
here.
done out here.
Yeah, you need to learn how to bounce back, my G. Like, come on, fix up.
If you go and cheat, don't get caught.
Yeah, man, we ain't gonna spend any more time on you, man. Let's jump straight into the last segment of the show. So I would like to just give a moment to Emman. You really came through this episode.
Oh, thank you.
I think you
did,
really
you
did your
did.
thing. You came with really great intros.
Honestly,
and
all
that.
those titles you lived up to.
You delivered. You really
did.
delivered. I
Really
like
did.
that. But guys, make sure you comment below to let Emman know he's been received. He's still on probation, but you know what I
I'm
mean?
about to say received.
Yeah,
You know how we roll. Has anyone ever received? I thought we're the only safe ones right now. It's like a game show.
It's a game show. I don't want to get too
Next.
invested. But yeah, shout out to you. Of
Mad.
course, shout out to Esther.
Yep.
thanks, girl.
2
Thanks for
episodes
having
back,
me.
and I just feel like your energy and essence is just bringing something
Thank you.
safe here.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
It's actually my third one.
No, but this week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's
Is it Thursday
Yeah,
today?
Thursday,
Oh
yeah.
shit! Do make time go fast.
So sending you your sis what would you do? Thank you.
Come on,
Yes.
thank you much. And also, if you don't see anything that's happening gossip-wise, help us do our work for us. You know what I mean? Just send that in as well, and sis will do her bit.
And vote.
Who's sis?
Vote,
Me?
You.
people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, called Word on Road.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
let them do your work.
I was
for
thinking,
you.
why am I in it? Okay. Yeah, DM me stuff. Let's see what's going on.
Yes, 100%. And guys, yeah, thank you to our guests. Thank you to Marks for tuning in and being a part of the show.
Always.
Guys, make sure you follow us on social media. You know how this works, yeah. If you fuck with us, everybody's gonna fuck with us. But we're already fucking with us. So do your thing, share our videos, comment. Brent has these amazing things on YouTube where they're like shorter segments of the show that I think are so good. So if there's a certain part you want to listen to or tune into, go and check those out.
The
as well.
teasers.
And share them, man. Some of your friends don't know what's happening in the world. Be the plug. Come on, be the plug. As Emman said, we are absolutely necessary. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We are too necessary.
We're too
He
necessary.
said not absolutely too
We're
necessary.
too necessary. That's with 2 O's. Don't piss me off. And guys, if you have any voice notes or text messages, send it into this number 075 6484 1073. That's 075 6484 1073. If you want to talk to Brent, this is how you can do it as well. And he's 6'2", guys. Like, don't waste time. And yeah,
so
from the
done.
beginning of June, we are on Patreon, and you're gonna be able to see every show live. Guys, there's moments before we start the show that are so hilarious and illegal. If you want to be a part of these, make sure you tune in. So head over to be part of all the wonderful perks, and get support in the day after. Interact with us, ask us questions, and so much more. And if you want to inquire about the show or wish to be featured on the show, or maybe you have a product or a brand that you think will fuck with our audience, make sure that you email us at the day after at THENEWBLXCK. The black has an X instead of an A. .com. There you go.
Well done.
Good save.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a great Thursday. All right. That was fantastic. Well done, guys. Strong week. Well done, Emman.
Yeah, that was a good show. Thanks, man.
People are sleeping. People are definitely